You're listening to Kate of Gaia on Critical Mass Radio. The game is up. Now, it's our turn.
And good evening. Welcome to Outside the Box. Yours truly, Kate of Gaia, coming at you live, criticalmassradio.co.uk, from an undisclosed location somewhere in the universe, closer to you than you actually realize. So there you go. First thing I got to do, I keep meaning to do this, have for so long. I just want to do a shout out for my main man, Otis. You know, no, I don't miss a trick, Otis, and I know. There are some people that have been there for a long time, and you're one of them. So just like to acknowledge that on occasion. There are many of you, and just haven't done a shout out to Otis for a long time, and I keep meaning to do it every night, and of course I get sidetracked and whatever. So there you go, Otis. You got your little shout out, and I feel better about it. I was going to write it, and I said, no, I want to do this. I keep getting distracted to do it. So there you go. Anyway, I did finish that essay. I did a little, shifting around it, of course, in order to get back into the groove of it. It's always hard to start an essay and then go back to it. But as well, fate would have it, the energy was still within it, and it was still in a kind of a download process. Just continuing on with the same overall concept that's contained within it. And I think by the time I'll read through the whole thing, I've put it up on Facebook. I did pass it to Ninja to get put up on kateofgaia.wordpress.com. Not sure if she's got it yet, but it will be there. And again, you know my essays. It's better to show and tell when I'm reading something on air. But regardless, this show will be archived. So if you want to hear it being read and reading along with it, you can do that once the archive is there after tonight's show, if you feel so indulgent. And that's cool, even if you don't. It's all good, because this game is all about you, and many of you are starting to get that, and it's really cool to watch gods come into their own power. That's the trick. That's what I love to watch. So that being said, where we got? I know I've got Darren on the board right now. What I'll do is I'll bring Darren in for a quick chat. I did get an email earlier today. Now I'm just I'll open your mic there, Darren, because I said I would. But what I'm going to do is I want to share an email that I got, and I do get these occasionally. Just to let people know I do pay attention. Now let me just get to Outlook here. And oh God, I hate Outlook.
Namaste,
anyway.
Everyone.
Hey, Darren, how are you doing?
Fine. It's just gorgeous. Got the sun beating down on me, and I'm just wondering if there's any more.
Oh, there's lots more. So like I said, just waiting for my Outlook to open here, and I want to get this. Oh, geez. Oh no, Dee has been busy today. I've got about 20 emails from him. Okay, I guess I know what I'm doing tomorrow. There you go. And we'll close that. So let me see. Get down here. And David, yes, I did. Oh, yeah. Let me just clear off some of these. Unreal. Yeah, it's just been a crazy...
Great exchange with Michael today.
What's that?
I had a beautiful exchange with Michael on his show today.
Well, hey, why don't you share that while I'm dinking around here trying to find what it is I remember to share while I remember to share it. So go ahead. I didn't get a chance to get in this morning. I was comatose. I fell asleep not long after the show last night, and I didn't wake up, and it was probably 11 o'clock. So I had lots, and I have to say this, I had lots of interactions. Again, not in the full view, but for me it's just knowing, but we're getting a lot of shit done in the after hours. So please share that, Darren. That'd be awesome.
Wonderful, thank you. Yeah, it was, you know how Mike guides everybody back into themselves. It's all about the self, his love. I mean, holy cow. It'd be great if we camped out on his deck as he wakes up. Yeah, it's all about the self and how we observe the self. That was the ultimate story that he shared today.
Oh, it's great. And the perspective that might come.
Yeah, but it was then, you know, here in the now, we're basking in that same truth.
Well, yeah, that's exactly it. And based on what Dee has been sending, I managed to get through a bunch of his stuff today. But based on what he's been sending, guys, we're dissolving this shit in rapid fashion, like faster than you can. Like every email is like, okay, this is dissolved, and this is how this transmuted into this, and this is done, and this is done, and this is done, and it's just been a constant, ongoing list of getting shit done, baby.
Yeah.
So it's crazy.
I spent some time with some fear porn yesterday.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, just fun. Yeah. Well, it kind of got me off guard, and then I just had to go into it. Lots of fears pop up, and they're deep, especially when you think of all. And clearing that energy just felt great. I felt so great. Null and voided or removed a whole pile of contracts that I had before. There's an emotional tie to that systems boogeyman I took back.
Well, you're going to love this little essay tonight. Basically, it's from what I did last night to what I added to it. It's at least the same and then some again. So here was the email I got, and just to share it with you guys. And this came in today, but and it's something we've been talking about. And I'm going to try this on tonight to see how it works. It's always a catch-22 with this. But he writes, hi, Kate. I like your show, but I find it stressful listening when everyone interrupts each other all the time. Boils kettles, rattles crisp packets, etc. What would make a big difference would be if, when you're talking, a mute button is in operation so that at least nobody can interrupt you. Then you can at least explain everything without you and us half expecting you to be interrupted or cut off. This way you can explain slowly and in depth. This would make a big difference to the quality of the broadcast. When you grab the mic, none of the others can interrupt. Cheers. I would also like to hear you talk more about practical solutions surrounding lose the name, win the game, such as getting accommodation, council tax, wages being paid into a bank account, dealing with gas and electric bills, etc., etc. Cheers, Peter. Thank you. Absolutely. And, I mean, this has been the ongoing thing with me, and I always leave it up to everyone that's at the table to police themselves, for lack of a better way to do it, and allowing full concepts to carry through. I mean, it's like I was saying to you the other day, Darren, I know when I'm hearing a download, so it's like, shut up and just let the individual go. And really, that's what it boils down to for me, because the only thing that's happening when interruptions, and it's habit, guys. We talked about this in great depth last night and had a lot of fun doing it, poking fun at ourselves. It's just habit. It's wanting to get into the fray and going, hey, I got this show and tell thing, and it's just the excitement. I totally get that. But what I'm asking, because I do not like to mute mics. I've said that constantly. I don't like to do that because I like to open the table up. So my terms are pretty simple. Your mic's open, and you will get your say. Be mindful there are others at the table. I'm the one staring at the multitude of open lines where, sometimes it can be 3 or 4 people basically take the entire table, and I actually get pushed out as well. And I do feel that. I feel that push-out energy. And I just sit back and wait until it eases. I don't want to really jump in there. The only time that I will jump in is when someone is sharing something far, far more profound than they're giving credence to. And like the one example we had, what was her name? It escapes me. Anyway, she was talking about being in court and a helper showed up, right? And it went right past that to the point where I'm saying, did you see what happened on your Interstate 60? This is the Mr. Cody stepping in, or Ray, or O.W. Grant stepping in to make sure. These are the unseen helpers. And after this little essay tonight, I really want people to start grasping the true magic nature of this place. We've been caught in the physical paradigm for far too long. And I get it. I know. I've been part of it. This is the thing. I am just like you. I came up through all the same programming. I went looking in, many of the same areas that all of you did. And I get it. I totally get it. I mean, this is probably the only table you can come to that you have infinitely more things in common with others than you've probably ever experienced in your entire life. And it is exciting. And I do get that. So let's try to curb that a little bit. And again, about sounds in the background, if you put your hand up, then you have the full responsibility of making sure that it's quiet on your end, either through muting or making sure the phone is covered or whatever the case may be. Because it is extremely distracting. And yes, we do have phones sometimes that have hisses and stuff, and not much we can do about that. But there is a lot we can do about pounding on keyboards, about rattling things, breathing too heavy into a microphone, all of these things that completely, these are the very subtle things that will derail someone who is sharing and likely just downloading straight from heart. And those are tenuous threads at best. And they're so easily snapped with, and look at the distractions of our universe, and it's no wonder. Look at the gift we have in terms of just getting to this table to begin with, myself included. So there you go. Anyway, that being said, here, what do we got? Oh, we got Mystified coming in for a sec, so I'll get you guys.
Can I share one thing?
Yeah, please.
Just a little bait for you to get into the table. When you share the heights you have gained, you create the space in your toolbox to gain new heights.
Good observation.
This is what you get to do. Since I've been sharing with Kate, well, I've been sharing a long time, but since actually getting online with Kate and expressing what is within my thumbprint, my being, my R, spirit breath, much more than things have shifted greatly. And I only feel that what's waiting you all is here at the Emerald Table. If you think you've been crazy, someone's told you what you got to share is crazy, come here, open your mouth. Let those words grace your tongue, because that tongue will deliver it to your heart and your pineal gland. And you will begin to activate DNA. Because it is your breath, your spirit breath, your word, no W. My spelling, I may get looked up.
That's your Oort cloud. Take the D out and put the law of truth back in. You have the creation of creation and spirit breath law of truth. That's what the Oort or word. Well, what is the Oort cloud? It's the cloud of creation around our solar system. It's all in a fractal. I might be a little noisy around here tonight, guys, so I will do my best to. Hopefully, not much was getting picked up. It's okay. It's all good. But I definitely will be muting when I'm not yabbering. And again, this is your table, and thank you for actually saying that, Darren. This is the place where you can come to literally download. And you get. I've listened to so many people here, when they first start out, and then they come in, and then I can hear the downloads, right?
Hey, Kate. Hey, folks.
Hey, how are you, Mystic, Mystified, Super Guy?
Yeah. I'm all right. There's a lady in a farm not far from where I'm at now, and apparently she barricaded herself in. They were trying to take her, and it's an animal sanctuary in a farm called Milkup Farm. And they're trying to build windmills on the land or something, and trying to repossess it from a supposed court repossession order from 2008, which I'm assuming it'll probably be out of date.
Well, it all is, and this is exactly what I'm going to cover tonight, because the simple truth of the matter remains that if she knew who she was, they wouldn't have anything to offer, because they can't contact the living. I'm going to cover that in this essay, so I'm going to mute both you guys out, get through this essay, and I'm going to cover exactly what you just said, Mystified. This is the power each and every one of us has, and I'm really hoping that the essay is called 0 Point. What I'm really hoping for tonight is to drill this point home once and for all. And that's really what I focused on in the second half of the essay, to bring the responsibility aspect back into it. But I assure you, I have written this in no uncertain terms with no compromise. So be mindful. This is going to be an earful and a heartful. If you're not willing to stand in the truth from this point forward, then you need to just simply fuck off. Because I will not have any spiritual connection to anything that will not stand in truth. Therefore, I am not going to allow myself to get pulled down. And that's the thing with this table. If you are not ready for the truth, I urge you to run away now. Because the truth you hear that resonates within you, if you do not stand in it, will actually, then you're in a condition of defying it. And you will begin the challenges accordingly to get you off that fence that you're sitting on. Okay, so let's not play the Humpty here. Let's just get the job done. So on that note, I'll just mute these mics out, and we're going to get rolling on 0 Point. And just checking my Skype here real quick. And let me see. I'll tell you what. What's the BTR number? I'll get the BTR number for you guys. BTR, go figure. BTR listener 021. Tonight I'm going to be throwing 9-inch nails into the coffin of the system. And watch for a world change. Like now. Okay? Yeah. So thanks, guys. Yeah, look, everyone's so helpful. BTR listener 021. Thank you. You guys rock. Okay, so on that note, let's get into some hardcore truth porn. That's what I call my stuff. I'm a truth whore. It's all about truth porn, right? So why not? Let's just play with the mirror of the game. I think I'll grab my other mouse because that one works great, but it's not as mobile. Okay. And just a little word to everybody. Car's getting a gas tank today. I didn't want to start, and I know why, because fuel pump's probably rotted out. There's been water in the tank. So, again, thanks to those that have helped out. That it makes just doing this possible without any consideration to keep things mobile, to keep me doing what I'm supposed to be doing. Stay on purpose, and the universe has you. Okay, so here we go, 0 Point. And again, I read much of last night, but I did add some things into it to clarify some points within it as I was reading through it. The problem with downloads is you end up thinking a lot more than you write, so I try to expand these. So anyway, it's called 0 Point. We'll be on kateofgaia.wordpress.com as soon as possible, and of course it's on Facebook. And I should have probably posted in the discussion group since I still have it open in my... what do you call it? Let me just move that, and we'll do that. I'm going to post it in the Kate of Gaia discussion group, so it's going in there right now. So for those that want to read along, just actually send a request to the Kate. It's on Facebook, Kate of Gaia discussion group. It's an open group. Just put that in your Facebook search and just let us know that you want to sit in with us and have some fun. And let me just paste that so that it's there. And post. Oops. There we go. Try that. Okay, so it's in there as well. I should probably add the file, but I'll do that after. Anyway, that being said, let's carry on. 0 Point. It really is quite simple. If one cannot stand in truth, then one is standing in a lie. If one chooses to deny truth, then one is far more than just a liar. One is a snake oil salesman and a thief of humanity and universal law. It is insane to think that anyone who plants a seed of poison ivy is going to get roses, let alone expect them. Perhaps one should take another look at the seed packet, self, and what one truly intends to grow. To even begin to explain or describe something known to self and unknown to others lacks the words in the literal sense, and why the ancients used allegory, parable, and analogy to convey the concepts in a way that children can grasp by forming pictures in the minds of those who can fathom the depths of truth. I've often pondered and been asked many times as to why any truths must be hidden from plain view. It didn't take me long to understand why, just a little longer to fully see why. This is where the mundane physical sways with the spiritual realities, and where the vast majority, not responsible enough for this knowledge, walk in proverbial circles until they too wake up to this realm. It is my feeling that man was boosted too fast, too soon, and too ignorant to fully grasp the magnitude of knowledge they were not spiritually ready for, and as a result, were easily manipulated and corrupted on all levels. It has long been conjectured that man, as a species, was altered genetically, and why no missing link, in terms of foolhardy evolution nonsense, cannot be and never will be found in the physical sense as far as fossils are concerned. In effect, we were given things that we simply just weren't ready for, period. Knowledge and intellect is one thing, while wisdom is quite another matter altogether. I've long put forth the notion that man has the ability to destroy itself 1,000 times over, yet no one took the time to ask why. Pure madness. And what makes it worse is that it has been our own creativity that has been used against us by those lacking the divine feminine creative soul, for lack of making it any simpler than that. In a universe of free will consent, all that needs to be captured is our consent, where all manner of trickery has been used. All the while, these corrupting entities are skirting the very edges of this most divine of laws to secure our abilities to be used against us. All these entities need is our consent to accept their reality, nothing more and nothing less. Our greatest strength is our creative soul, infinite and ultimate, and something the tricksters don't have, which lends itself to the motivation as to why there are those that are soulless would have to steal, in full honor and consent, the most powerful of all things in the universe, creation itself. We are also dealing with even less mature entities that haven't earned their souls yet, and are looking for the shortcut to this realm without going through the process of understanding why weapons of any kind should never have even been dreamed of, let alone made. The concept is simpler still. What they may or can never have, they must steal via deception, and all they need is your invitation. The more outrageous and fearful of humans will scream that we need weapons to protect ourselves, all the while not seeing that an enemy had to be invented first to even entertain that notion of that in the first place. This is the master game, and the only bluff the deceivers had, and that is now at its end. I like to entertain the thought of why would anyone or anything do such a thing, and then I look at humanity getting an unearned boost into knowledge without the prerequisite of wisdom earned aforehand. Wisdom only comes with experience of things one would do and either regret or reinforce to grow benevolence from. Fortunately, in both cases, growth is the end result anyway, but can be a painful lesson where responsibility of one's actions is concerned. It is extremely easy to separate the wheat from the chaff, however, and it's as easy as seeing all those that purport to be leaders, royalty, clergy, court, city and law officials, as the most immature of all, where it is safe to say they lack the wisdom to contain any soul whatsoever, or have earned a long fall down in full awareness of what they have done with misused knowledge without wisdom. Regardless of any argument to the contrary, I paint them all with the same paint roller because they are known by their actions, result of intent, the harms they create and do so willfully, with many lusting to harm. Ignorance is the biggest soul killer, and those that are involved in any system control job or role with any soul are feeding the very beast that is draining them of this pure creation source. If one doesn't care about oneself, perhaps start thinking of those around you to see if they may be worth your efforts to stand in truth. Those that have created the systems that control humanity by their consent to be in and of the system have no fear of reprisal in that they already have the consent to be master, where slaves can cry all they want, to no avail. Could it really be this simple? Well, absolutely it is, because anything that anyone agrees with, they are in spiritual contract with. Most are disillusioned regarding this because their own creative ability to think for themselves has been mind-conditioned out of them long ago. The schools and churches get their claws in us when we are very young and toss out gibberish and fairy tales enmeshed with fear to make sure we may never doubt their teachings. Fear is the only knob on their control panel, and once you know it's powerless, you get to rip their knobs off. Fear is the only tool these most vile of entities know how to use. If one seeks proof of this, just even question the accepted and programmed norms of anyone and watch the fireworks go off. In short, humanity has been covered in so much bullshit, it's a wonder that any of us woke to this at all. Remember, the truth flies directly in the face of everything you've ever been taught to accept as normal. So don't be too miffed when you get lots of reaction from those closest to you. Such is the power of this fear. Humanity are as lemmings, gleefully heading to the cliffs, and get quite irate when being told this truth. This is the glee of insanity that renders man as less than animals, and is displayed nicely in the predator-prey motif in nature. You either call their bluff, or you jump off the bluff with the rest of the lemmings. That's called peer pressure. Nature is a direct reflection of the overall effect that has shredded this most wondrous of realms into nothing more than a dog-eat-dog cesspit. If you could ask a deer about its reality just prior to it being shot, it will likely tell you that being hunted is a most uncomfortable feeling. It will be the same with a cow or a pig, human-animal hybrid DNA, by the way, just before its executioner places a bolt gun to its head prior to slaughter, while it lived its last few moments knowing full well what was coming. I would ask you how that might make you feel, and then ask how much fear energy is in the meat that humanity throws down its gullet. Perhaps replace these animals with humans, where they can say what's in their hearts, if they have one. No, I'm not some reformed vegan or born-again smoker on a holier-than-everyone-else pulpit. I'm simply a realist who chooses the wisdom in matters such as these, and allow others to see it, or not, for themselves. It makes far more sense to present the facts than some emotionally unstable holier-than-thou activist that is only pissing people off, whilst giving those they piss off all the resolve they need to be vengeful and continue the death-eating. As far as I'm concerned, you might as well eat your pets if you're going to consume any animal, but then the caste system is also deeply ingrained in your program, too. It's all life to me, whether it's called rover or grade A meat. This is how we separate life from life, which separates us from all consciousness as well. This fractal continues into everyday life, and most can't see that either. If man hunts animals, then it only makes sense that man will hunt other men and label it with catchphrases like war, battles, and conflicts, etc., where I only see it for what it truly is: murder. I mean, hell, shouldn't you at least eat that meat too and call it what the churches call it to wean their minions from eating slaves, namely long pork? This is where the Fish on Friday ritual came in. Is it a coincidence that Robinson Crusoe had a man-slave called Friday? Yeah, human flesh, the other white meat, indeed. You are what you eat after all, and likely why anyone is called a vegetable if they've had brain damage. Those that control the system are masters of the mirror, and love to attach the opposite intent in our day-to-day sayings. They attach a negative connotation to positive things, and as a result, it's a negative intent that carries the power. It goes much deeper and darker than that, but suffice it to say, we implant our own controls in ourselves with the very words we've been programmed to use. In the end, it all comes down to what we are willing or unwilling to accept any longer. We are razzled and dazzled every day with our toys, our gadgets and gizmos, and thus distracted to a mind-numbing degree, and that's exactly the way the masters like it. I think the hardest message I share is the one that says we do it to ourselves. And it was in this truth that the answers finally started pouring forth, where they were only drips here and there before this. It is very easy to blame another for one's misfortunes, but the real digging only begins when we accept full responsibility for our choices. I say full responsibility because in order to enter any duality conflict with another, it is we who make the choice to engage or not. It is the very intent to do this that attracts all our conflicts to us, where it's as simple as pick a fight, expect a fight, in the land of the ego must be right, so put up your dukes. The real fear comes in when we have wronged another and do our best to avoid them at all costs. The really deluded ones cannot entertain the idea of making amends either, because they're so conditioned into pure duality, accepting any sense of peace is no longer in their nature, where conflict is their chosen norm, and they don't even know it. They will fight harder when you start exposing this for them as well. This is one of the deepest set psychoses in the overall ego program that maintains a circular, snake eating its own tail perpetuation. Talk about perpetual motion. It is the one that continues to make another wrong to give it a sense of power. If you want proof of this, try making amends with someone, even if there was no intent to harm them or anyone, where it is their delusions that hold that firmly in place anyway, and they will claim you ran away where you simply see it as pointless reasoning with an insane individual. The only creativity left in these individuals is their ability to create more delusions to support their previous ones, and it just gets crazier from there. Yep, time to walk away, lest this festering cyst of ego imprint attach itself to you. This is the most filthy of energies I have yet experienced with supposed awake individuals, where their need to be right and seek vengeance, compensation, and notoriety is killing their soul, what's left of it anyway. I have met many of these in my life. They prefer to hate, make others wrong, and blame everything outside of themselves because they are at the lowest level of power in their existence, soon to lose it all as a result. Dare to disagree with any psychotic, be it a cop, clergy, family, friends, and society in general, and watch the fear and hate programs light up this glee of insanity. No, the ones that harm others with intention or ignorance will never make amends until they either see this truth or journey deeper down into the abyss of lost consciousness. Without a conscience, the consciousness cannot exist, because the S or divine feminine empathy has been extricated. Even the phonics of consciousness proves it out literally. Conch, a shellfish. US is the balanced masculine and feminine, and ness meaning a state of being, in a shell, or one who has the key, the X, which is Io, the goddess, the 10, which is the infinitely mind law of truth, in awareness of self and all. Consciousness, where con means with or without as well. Conscience is even easier to see. Con meaning with or without, psi meaning spirit, and ens, which means mind, or simply with or without spirit mind. There is no point in rationalizing with people that are so lost in their own programming that isn't even their own to begin with, because they cannot see this. For those that have made it to this point of impact, being ruled by the heart versus a corrupted by design mind, well done. But this is only the beginning of the real steps back into a magical reality. We have been well indoctrinated in fear, so don't be too put off every time you get that tinge of doubt as you continue forward into a long-lost wisdom. Those tinges are merely indicators of still running programs that need to be destroyed. The only reason one feels they cannot do something is because we've been told from the get-go that things like levitation and flying were impossible, and we bought it. Try telling someone that they can change the world with but a thought, and they will cringe in fear and self-doubt, like good little robots. I use these tinges to show me what I still need to push through, as painful as it seems to be at times. No pain, no gain. No pain, no gain. That's with the K, by the way. We've long been controlled by fears, and that everything becomes an imagined mountain from molehills, and why most cannot accept responsibility for their actions, with all the scenarios of what if going fractal in their minds. They grow the fear so big in their own minds, they soon forget how small it was to begin with. The reason why people refuse to confront these things is because they cannot accept responsibility of harming another, and will do everything and anything to never face this in their own mirrors, let alone you as the constant reminders. Of course, people that have stolen from me cannot confront me, because that means looking in a mirror they are terrified of. The irony is, until one does, they will be trapped in their own mirror, just like how one traps any demon. Consider those in your life that you don't want to face, and you'll see what I mean. If one is thinking in a physical effect sense, one is blind to spirit, and as a result, will be powerless due to your consent, draining your life source away, literally. Fortunately, there are many more now that are beginning to see the very things I've been talking about for a long time. They, like me, have difficulty conveying what they know to those that cannot see this yet, and why I love conversing with those on the true road. Again, the road is narrow, and few shall find it, while even fewer who do find it haven't the balls to walk it out fully, and resort to attacking those that do, in a futile attempt to empower themselves this way, which is pure delusional thinking. Everyone loves to hate a winner, eventually, and it's simply the ego striving for a better survival by trying to defeat someone or something that appears stronger than them. This is the poisonous nature of competition, and it's the only program the ego knows. The ego is finite and only seeks the highest level of creature comforts it can get to satiate all physical lusts that many call needs. Besides, what part of "you're on a suicide mission anyway" aren't people getting that keeps them in mortal fear and distracted from their infinite soul nature? If you're stuck in the physical mind, you're already dead at some point. So my best advice is to get your living on, eh? The only difference with living is that it's immortal, unless you like boxes, holes, funerals, fear, etc. Every ancient teacher said the same thing, and I continue this tradition with the statement of, "The truth shall set you free," and I am unyielding in this stance. Oh, excuse me. Only what reading does that. Anyways, only when one gets to this crossroads and finally and ultimately decides to stand in truth, come what may, will one be given the glimpses of the truly supernatural aspects of the universe. Truth is hidden from those without eyes, because of what has happened due to those that had this knowledge before the wisdom to wield it, in the same way that one cannot expect good outcomes from a child with a flamethrower in a playground. This is exactly the hierarchy system we are dealing with, and people wonder why wars exist. Seriously? The point is very simple, as is the answer, yet so very few are willing to take that final step to freedom, and it's all based in the programmed fears within the ego entity itself. It's not you, it's the program. A spiritual being can only be duped in doing things against will, because the true spirit is one of benevolent creation and playfulness. The system cycles use tools like fear, pain, guilt, enslavement to control the programs that control you, because they can never control you otherwise. Remember, this game is all about contract, and what one agrees with, one is in full contract with on both physical and spiritual levels. What exactly does an infinite and immortal being have to fear but the programmed nature of fear itself? Once people see the absolute separation of physical ego and the real you, then they will be led into the halls of Amenti, as it were. We have been long blinded to our magical nature, so removed from our consciousness, that the very mention of this to the majority will find them running and screaming, which only proves this most destructive of separations from the true self and all. You may experience fleeting moments of this as you walk more and more in truth, and these moments will appear when you need them most. There is no need to seek proof from others, because only you can experience your particular reality. Can I tell you what your experience is, or is that only something you know and are certain of? I cannot prove that you are real in the same way that you cannot prove that I am. So be mindful in the wisdom, trust no one. Trust only self. When one trusts only self, the attraction of the right energies follows suit. The synchronicities get multiplied to a crazy rate, and your knowing of self is continually strengthened, as this truth snowball soon becomes the avalanche that destroys every system bluff, leaving you untouchable spiritually and thus physically as well. In the best way to share this, you literally become bulletproof. Things that once had you in fear and doubt dissolve as the illusions they are. This is where the veil is pierced, never to repair itself. There is only one thing that connects us to the system, and one thing only. There is only one thing that grants any and all consent the system needs, and desperately try to keep hidden behind veils of legal chaos, designed to keep the intellect in full control, distracting us, keeping us fighting and going secular. It is the one thing that without control of, the whole house of cards comes tumbling down. It is so incredibly simple, very few can believe it, let alone accept it as true, and even fewer that implement this truth into their reality. Everything in physical creation is claimed with this one simple contract. It's the one that you take from the cradle to grave. Everyone, save folks like me, have one and will literally fight to the death to protect it. Everything is registered through it, rendering everything given away as a result, which is why those thinking something is theirs and they're fighting for it renders them in full dishonor. Honestly, how would you feel if someone gave you something and showed up later to take it back? What would people think of you if you did that all the time? They'd soon stop expecting gifts from you and vice versa. This is exactly what the system does to play us off against one another, while they milk us completely in full universal, by our free-willed consent, honor. The trick is complete and all-encompassing until you catch on, and only then is the fraud on a universal scale fully revealed, where you, for the first time in your lives, have a spiritual and causal leg to stand on. This one little loophole has been controlling humanity, sucking its spirit dry, and it all goes back to the very first Hyksos pharaohs called King Mean, a.k.a. Ha, and the Narmer palette. If one has a name, one is separate from an unnameable source, disconnected from the true power of all creation. When one fully gets this, every mindless legal question becomes mute, powerless. You begin to step into the realms of pure creation you were taken from. This information is the true demon killer, and these entities know it, and why they are ramping up every manner of distraction they can muster with ever-tightening constraints. This is why the supposed free men and the like are being kept in jails, because for them to continue teaching the illusion is harmful, where they and their followers are being kept safe from further delusions. All one need do is look at everything in the mirror to see the good and the bad and the bad and the good. And how good is it for someone to be teaching legal remedies anymore? It is time for these idiots to grow up, put down their flamethrowers, and start exposing the real trap of humanity, instead of reinforcing it with their mindless greed and ego vengeance. The deceivers are everywhere, and I will not discount many who have been friends in the past as being of these ranks that infiltrate our trust as COINTELPRO agents, only to turn around and throw spiritual knives on our backs. I do not discount family, those I have loved, friends of many years, and compatriots in the collective path to truth. I see the majority of those I've worked with as either fearful idiots or decoys of deception. There is no gray area anymore, since I control that center ground called no man's land. Nor are you a flesh and blood man, inasmuch as all flesh and blood in the physical is dead, with the illusion of our animating it with your spirit life force. Only the soul lives, where the physical is a finite world, decaying constantly with cells replacing themselves, because that's what death does. The physical is the shadow mimic of the soul, made to feel so real to experience this one tiny aspect of infinite creation. The name is the only thing the system has to control your soul, so it'll be up to you to accept or deny this fact. A name is no longer something attached to me, where it is only a map reference to find the true me. The true magnetic source of all, connected consciousness, where intent is not needed to create. It simply is. I have done and more things prove this to all the doubting Thomases, Tom's twin, by the way, to all the doubting Thomases out there, and still they seek further from an external source. Only when you stand in your own truth, your own authority, will you even begin to fathom what I am sharing here in this writing. If you seek answers, then you must accept the full responsibility of that answer, especially when it runs counter to your programmed minds. This is about taking your own power back in a state of responsibility of accepting and walking in truth. Everyone can take their doubts and shove them as far up their own asses as they can, because that's all they are to me, recirculated from the same physical source they came from. I cannot tell you how to stand or even why. Those are your questions to answer. The best motivation for me was knowing that if I didn't stay true to this path, countless lives would have been harmed, and I cannot bear to be a part of that any longer. I cannot choose cowardice while people suffer, nor can I yield to the lies that have poisoned my reality for so long, once expunged from my beingness. These are the choices you must make, or do yourself a favor and save yourself bother, and go to being a good little slave, fully liable for any and all harms that will result. These are the debts of sin you will be required to pay, and you will, in meat stick Groundhog Day grinder. Only you know the tolerance levels of inflicting harm on others, and at which point you will choose to stop or continue. I made my choice, and there is nothing these little demonic soulless pieces of shit can do about it. I cannot make your choice for you, because only you know the level of evil you are capable of agreeing with, where my tolerance is now 0 point. Well, this may sound harsh to fragile and fearful little egos, It is my hope that it fires the true you up into finally taking the next step, seeing as you have already taken your leap of faith, bothering to show up in my reality anyway. I offer no mitten strings or skirt hems for you to cling to. You had that with Mama and Papa Whore of Babylon. I offer a quarter where none was ever given to me, to allow the golden rule its power to manifest and grant the wishes of those who have wished harm upon me and humanity as a whole. I take no prisoners, since that is what I've been for far too long, and I wouldn't wish that upon another either. The choice must be one of your own choosing, of your own volition, of your own soulness being. No compromise rules your path. It is my wish that those ready to truly awaken do so, if that is their wish, shared with my own in that uncompromising light that is immortality. We have all walked long and lonely roads in countless eons on this singular quest, where we not only found the mine, we are claiming its gold along with the return of all creation stolen by those most unwelcome and unneeded in my reality. Yes, I have things yet to do, but I know I am on my path, in my purpose and raison d'etre, and walk I will. I stand to boast, I shall never yield, and none shall pass. Laws of the unconditional kind. So there you go. Let me just move this that way. I think that's kind of clear. I think I made my point. I think that might be something you could attune to. So let's get this table rocking here. And again, let's just remember to be mindful of everyone and each other. And don't ask for permission to come in. That is not required at this table. Just bring in what it is that you need. Be mindful of others speaking and wait for that energy to abate. And also, if you are speaking, there is plenty of time to talk. No need to just keep going and going and going and going because the ego light hear itself. Fair enough? I think the terms are fair, so let's try this again tonight, see if we can get it right this time. I'd love for it to be that way. It'd be awesome. So we have Darren, Mystified, looks like Brandon and Jan are in the call right now. So,
yep, beautifully shared, Kate. Beautifully shared. No words need to be used or anything. It's done. Pick it up. It's yours. That's awesome.
Yep.
Mystified, nice to hear you. That was awesome. Yeah. I love everything you share.
Yeah, all I was going to say was, that was a brilliant reading what you did there, Kate. You completely nailed it once again. And that lady that I was on about, the one that was barricaded in a home that was an animal sanctuary, the police wouldn't even take water or food from our daughter that was at the gate, being barricaded, being blocked off by this private security firm with dogs. The police wouldn't take food and water from our daughter to hand her in her house. She'd been without food and water for 5 days. That's what these people are like. That's what these psychopaths working for this system are capable of. You know what I mean? It just... Ugh.
Well, they're doomed. So I simply say that. I can't say anything other than that. They are the masters of their own destiny, and of course, destiny involves enlightenment or doom. So, just all I do now is I flow agreement that their wish is granted. May you have a wish of doom that you are wishing upon another, and I hand it back. I don't get involved. It's not my concern. I just hand it back. I walk my walk, and that's all we all have to do.
Yeah.
Freedom.
I mean, really, what do you expect from dogs? What do you expect from the predator-prey mentality? What do you expect from soulless meat sticks, bioborgs? What do you expect from those that have infiltrated the most precious and pure creation realm here? You were expecting, that something compassionate is acceptable? No. That's why I'm uncompromising in this, because for me, I will take no prisoners. I will simply obliterate from consciousness, but a thought to me. These are thoughts that I, and I'm sure many of you, no longer need. So we remove these from our mind. We do not focus on them. We just simply destroy them, grant them their wish of infinite doom and no consciousness, completely obliterated from reality. then don't worry, they won't feel anything because they won't exist. So there's no harm in that.
Give them their energy back. It's not yours.
It's not mine. I don't want it. Yep, absolutely, Paul.
Their movie script, brother. Don't feel the pain of it. Don't feel the fear of it. As soon as you do it, you carry their script, their spellings. Boo. Free yourself in that emotional state. Just look at ask yourself, is this who I am? Is this who I am? And then bend that I into a you. Notice they don't make magnets that shape anymore for us. What? You're not here.
Yeah, they're all
bar
magnets.
Yeah. I remember watching Wile E. Coyote allegory. He'd always draw the shit and get smashed by his magnet. Every time. What are you going to do with yours, mystified? Are you going to keep calling that energy in? Do you want to bathe in it? Or do you want to choose you?
No, I was only mentioning it and seeing
I heard the concern and the compassion and the love in your voice.
Yeah, for that lady, yeah. Definitely.
Yeah.
But trying
all
to
of us,
reason
we all feel that.
And now, turn it around. Take that fear and put an inner smile on your face. I mean, that's yours. That's your choice. Because you'll carry that energy. You're giving that energy space so those people don't get crushed by their own shit. Thank you. It's not much help, but thank you. I see the intention. But give the juice back. Because the more we stop reacting to these individuals and carrying the weight of their energies produced, the energy goes back in their lap. And if 1,000 people did it to one individual, I'm pretty sure that boy's done. If 1 million people stopped hating on the people causing this, I'm pretty sure they're not going to hold that energy long. Because you know what it feels like on your end, huh? And it is
just
your
grant
choice.
them their wish. In absolute gratitude, grant them their wish.
And so it is.
So mote it be.
I'm at the point when someone says something nasty about themselves that I don't see, and they want to just play the fiddle, and so it is. They shut up. They leave me alone. Some think I'm an asshole, and I say that's okay, because I'll hold the spirit breath. They can hold what they create. So thank you. No matter what you choose.
Yeah, well put. Well put. And to even simplify what Darren's saying here, the energy that you feel that we negative towards these individuals, I simply, because I'm pure negative source, I simply flip it into the positive and grant them their wish. It is their wish to experience what that lady is going through. So their wish is granted in full unconditional love, the law of truth. That which you wish upon another, you have wished upon yourself. It really is that simple. If someone just slap you on the face, then they're, in turn, under universal law, wishing to have that experience themselves. And this is why, and I talked about this a lot in the past with all of those that came against me and my family and friends and what have you. They are going to have to go through the experience. Well, that's the ones that have any semblance of a soul at all, or if they're just a Bioborg meat stick, walking dead zombie. They're non-existent anyway. They're just a walking, talking computer, biological computer. They don't have compassion, don't have remorse, they don't have regret, they don't give a shit. All they do is they mimic the true soul, and that's what this whole quote war in heaven unquote is all about. By fusing get into the physical just to try to illustrate this, by fusing the DNA with their own, they're hoping to crossbreed in order to gain a body that can have soul, but they're idiots. It's just how deluded they are. You cannot mix oil and water. It just cannot happen. And there's no amount of physical realm that's ever going to accomplish that. So these entities are deluding themselves. They will go back to where they came from, non-existence. No skin off my nose. It's not for lack of compassion. I am being ultimately compassionate, and I would never want to live that way. Would you? You can call it a mercy killing if you want, but you're not killing anything that's already dead anyway. It's only mimicking life. It's not life itself. The only thing empowering these entities is the soul force that we have. We are the life. I mean, some replace each other because they constantly die. That's what the physical realm is. It is in a constant state of decay. As soon as you finish making something, it's already in the process of decaying. The only thing that happens in the physical realm is it changes in form of another. There is no real creation here. All fact. And I'm done with being at effect. I'm taking their bull by the horns and snapping them both off and denatifying it at the same time. You know, the people that are at the top of the rungs in terms of the social, physical ladder here are the most psychotic and most deluded of all. This is why they put people in positions of power in terms of cops and military and whatnot, and stick the fear mechanism in place. And the one thing that turns all off is the spiritual contract, and it's I know it's hard to believe, but it all involves the name. That's everything. So for me, everything has always stuck right to the name, and everything in the physical realm is owned by it. Now, this lady that you were speaking of, she knew this. Those poor degraded beings that are soon to be completely destroyed anyway wouldn't be there anyway. This is why the mainstream loves to put out all the pictures of the fear and the wars. That's why they teach about war and all the rest of it in school, because they want to keep their demons alive. They want to keep their Mao Zedongs and their Winston Churchills and their Hitlers. And even me mentioning this is keeping it alive. But the intent of when I say these names is to destroy them from the consciousness. When you put something in front of someone long enough and often enough, it becomes the accepted reality. It's a very simple thing to change someone's mind, especially the ego. It's such an easy program. This is why I've talked in the past with regards to just, what do I do? Okay, we'll just start sending out, read the stuff, get the concept and the intent behind it, then send it to whoever you want to. And watch shit just start disappearing. That's the power of you. You are an ultimate magical being. You just had your wand snapped in half, and I'm just trying to help you glue it back together. If you want it, if you don't, it's fine too. Like I said in that little note, I am intolerant of being party to any further inflicting of harm on anyone. I will not partake of the system. I will not partake of any of their illusions. My only game right now is simply to keep this meat stick walking and talking to carry this truth through. I should mention, I watched A Winter's Tale last night, and that comes like way at the top of the recommended list. It's when you see it, it's mind blowing. I mean, they've got Pegasus. There's your hippocampus, your higher Christ mind, and it's all in it. It's all there. And I tell you, anyone that's just of the general populace, carry out the dead meat stick, totally in the system, will look at it as being some crazy awesome entertainment. And the truth that it's spewing out on the etheric and spiritual levels is, it's a Noah's flood. And speaking of Noah, I watched a bit of that last night too, and quite frankly, the movie itself sucks. It was very long and drawn out. I didn't even watch it to the end. It was that boring. I just got tired of the religio cosa's drivel that was so elongated that concepts, I mean, they're there, but it I don't know. It's like listening to someone reading like this. That's what the movie felt like. So, which just told me that the whole idea of them trying to sell this shit any longer has just lost all of its energy and flow. So it was pretty funny. But anyway, there you go. I just wanted to toss those few ideas out. All right. Janet, you're in here. Brandon, you're in here. So come on in.
Hey, everyone. Yeah, while you were reading that, there was the prettiest yellow birds that were just dancing right in front of this tree that I'm sitting in front of. It was just so, so beautiful. Really magical. Yeah. That's what
fun,
I
isn't
wanted
it?
to share. Thank you. Yeah, that was awesome and beautiful. Mhm.
Awesome stuff.
Hi, Janet.
Yeah. Hi.
Don't wait for me, guys. The table's here.
I'd like to think that email you read too, suggesting that more content be derived towards the corrections, like where we share and move forward in this. And I think that will will change the table again.
Yeah, someone got the show going on in the background. I can hear the time delay, so please turn your speakers down. If you're in the call, you're in the show. You're getting it in real time anyway. So I just thought I'd share that. 956, you're in here as well. Is that Manny, Sunny Son?
Hi.
Hello.
Hi. Kate, am I on?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. You're on.
I thought I wasn't on because of much lagging. I think I was like off about 1 minute lag.
Yeah. Have you got? Oh, that's weird because if you're in the call, you're in the real time with us right now.
Oh my God.
Yes, you are.
Yes, you are.
Okay.
So turn the show off because you're actually in the. You're going to be listening to the show in real time. That's how you've got a time lag. It's I guess about it might be up to 10 or 15 seconds. Sort of like that what Dee was talking about the other day. That 15-second time lag. Funny that, eh?
Oh my God, mine was super long. It's crazy, but
traversing space and time.
Mhm.
Oh my God, that's crazy.
So what's on your mind?
What's going on in the show?
The same as always, just a bunch of truth nonsense. But other than that,
Oh. Mirror, mirror. Or not.
Oh yeah. Here, just to go back to what Peter had mentioned. Excuse me, sorry guys. In the email. Practical solutions. The practical solutions I've given out countless times, and I'm going to keep saying the same thing. If you're dealing with some sort of an issue, and stop trying to tackle everything at once. That's what the ego does. It loves to overwhelm itself so that it says, "Oh, I give up." That's what ego does. So stop that right away. Pick something that you see as being very easy to start with. Before you start working on Rolls-Royce jet engines, you might want to learn how to fix a lawnmower first so you can start getting some of the basic concepts. And that's all this is. So find the simple thing. It's a simple matter of weaning yourself off the system, i.e. credit cards, i.e. bank accounts, i.e. debit cards, any sort of electronic transfer involving names, etc., etc., etc. Become aware of these things. Because as soon as you're aware of these things, you start changing your reality anyway. And when you start weaning things out of your reality, things that have just been nothing more than habit most of your life, when you start weaning yourself off these things, wonderful things start to happen. You may not see them at first. You may not even notice them. And they're probably going to be very blatant. But what you will start to get a sense of is an inner empowerment. And be patient with this. There's no snapping of the finger and everything goes away just yet. That's what we're working on, okay? But it takes a little bit of time to walk in this truth, especially what we talk about every night, which is 180 degrees opposite to what mainstream reality has rammed down our throats for our entire lifetimes. That's why we're here. We've had enough of that mirror, and we're deciding to step through the looking glass.
I'd like to share.
Sure, please.
If we can look at the legal system as if it is the system of the ego and how the mind works, how it enslaves you, how it gets you to do contracts. The moment you have an emotional anything, you're signing a contract without even awareness. You can correct this because the law reflects the ego and how you ran away and caught up in the fear. Because fear gets you in trouble with the law. Fear gets you in trouble with your ego. Stand upright. Law goes away. Stand upright. Aha! No ego. Neutral. Non-polarized. Don't think you're going to fight. Feel that truth. Upright. It's there. The ego produces all that. And it's not a wrong. It's a tool. It's designed for that. If we didn't have it, we wouldn't accomplish anything. We wouldn't have got to this period of time where we have this power. Everything's happened for a reason. It was to set us up to know, not to put our hand where it shouldn't be. Look at the world, not as us and them, bad guy, shitty person, low energy, bad energy, bum, cop, judge. As soon as you change your outlook, yes, that's their act. But do you want to own it? Do you want to carry some of that energy with them? Because that's what those definitions do for you. They hold you in that state, empowering them, all the while thinking you're being self-righteous. Won't serve you in this time. That was the last 3 times. This is where you get to be the one who witnesses. This is where you get to be the one who stands in a stance and dances. Your mind is a tool. When it tells you, I know, you might want to move to your heart mind. Then you'll see your ego. Then you'll see the law. It's there. It's here. That's what you're here for. And I thank Paul for his letter. That was really good. And I know there's lots out there that have so much more to share.
Indeed there are. So the simple things, as far as, here, let me go back to the email there was, where were we? Dealing with gas and electric bills. Again, just start educating them. You're not fighting with anybody. Did you know you're a criminal? People don't know that they're criminals. They don't know that they're committing fraud against themselves, spiritual death, by using the legal names. Start telling them. Let them know. And again, this is about sending stuff out. If somebody has an email address or an address at all, then they have said that they are open to all contracts. So take advantage. System did. I use the tools of the system against itself. This is where I become the tool master instead of the master's tool. And the tools are there. They're very, very simple. Again, I probably have to spend a little bit of time with Ninja, and I'll sort things into stuff that you can use to educate people. Of course, the essays are there. That's, for me, the most important way to wake yourself up so you can understand what are in these. I can't even call them legal or lawful documents. They're basically information tools to put into these diluted legal lawful types universes. And remember, when you plant that seed, it doesn't matter if they read it or not. It's your pure intent that's going there. That's the real magic. It's got nothing to do with who gets it. It's got everything to do with who sends it. See? There's no vengeance in that. There's no competition. And there's certainly no argument. You're open for business? You're open for the state of being dual? Then fine, I will send you a singularity. Did you know you're a criminal? There's ones for cops, lawyers, postal workers, hospital workers, general public. And again, if you could even, what was the One Stop Truth Docs? Got a whole bunch of these things, and I've got to revamp a lot of this stuff. So what I might do is put together all of the quote, legally, lawfully type, unquote, stuff for sending to electric companies and gas companies and all the rest of it. You see, when you truly know who you are, these entities will not come near you. And people constantly ask about proof. That's ego. Ego needs that. That's the mint ring or the skirt hem. Can I hold on to? And I totally get that. I looked for the same until I finally got to where I'm at, and I go, you don't need any of that. This is so blindingly simple. This is why people just cannot fathom or swallow this. It's too easy. But then, look at our universe. How much work went into creating that? It was nothing but a thought, now wasn't it? That's how things are created. That's how things are destroyed. Yeah, go ahead.
It's amazing how simple. The time I wasted, come on. Reading Black's Law Dictionary, the Criminal Code.
You and me both.
Man, when I look at the Charter of Rights, I don't even read the Charter of Rights. Here, I'll read the only thing I suggest anybody read in the Criminal Code book, well, other than the fraud stuff and But it's just amazing how simple it is. They even spell it out in the Charter of Rights of Canada. We're not even into the Charter.
No,
and
again,
here's the truth.
Well,
the Canadian Charter of Rights and Freedoms and blah, 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 blah. Whereas Canada is founded upon the principles that recognize the supremacy of God.
Well, here, check this out.
Congratulations.
What is a charter? Well, when you want to charter a flight, what does that make you? That makes you a passenger on that plane. That's ultraviolet, rights, rituals. So it's making you a passenger of their ultraviolet rituals. The purple robe, remember?
Yeah.
So, and it's all spelled out in black and white so clearly. I'm grateful for all of the research I did, not only because I can just sit back and basically destroy any legal argument before they even open their mouths, and it gave me that background and that basis to do so, because the ego loves to play the intellectual. I can play that game all day long. I hate it. It's boring. But I have no issue absolutely shredding and slaughtering any egotistical, arrogant prick that thinks they actually know something on this fucking planet. Because they don't. It's the truth.
If you don't give up nothing, you know nothing.
Mm-hmm.
The other night I was listening to the show, and the lady that just came in before with the lovely, softly spoken voice.
Oh, Janet. Yes, Janet.
I dozed off for it's really, really, maybe it's a minute at the most, right? And in the stream, I was sitting at a desk in a house, right? Exactly like I am now, right? And I looked up, and the rain was coming through the ceiling and hit me on the head. And when I came back to this reality, that lady there was talking about water. Very peculiar.
Funny how that works.
Yeah.
Water.
The magic kingdom, man.
Water. Love water, keep the vibe high.
I'm pretty certain that we're inhabiting this meat stick here, meat suit here, right? And I'm pretty certain wherever we are when we're dreaming, it's just another experience, just doing another thing.
Well, that's the thing about water. It can hold infinite amount of information.
Yep. And DNA as well.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, the first thing that's created in the human fetus is a pineal gland. You know? That's God's light. There's light. Boom. Life. You know, people don't know that. Yet they say they know the mind. Most people don't think that they can create mind loops in their head by saying something over and over again. And holding on to memory. You know? They don't want to accept that. Or I don't know how many times I said, well, I'd like to claim it, but there's science before me. You know? The biggest fear of this time is vibration. Yeah, everybody, you know. There's so many things that happen before we think we know. And we know nothing. We don't even know how the body operates. You know, that pineal gland is the size of a pea. And if they've drank the crap and ate the crap, well, crystallized. Light turned off. Well, not quite.
Just chug some ayahuasca. That'll sort that out.
You know it. Crystal busting. You know. And then they think they know. They don't even know their tongue's the next thing that's created. And they know. Well, actually, it's the tongue. And the whole organ that looks like what? I'll do you some homework. That's the tool. What comes out of our thoughts across that tongue graces God or hexes them, aka you. So be gentle to that tongue. Recognize when that judgment or that definition limited or separated someone from the flock. Because none are being left behind on my watch. This I know. Some will turn to rock. Some will turn to stone. And some will feel the creaks. But there will be heaven on earth again. That's the law. Hey. So resist all you want. Matters not to me. I've had fun this far. Coyote medicine. Some of the best.
Stay the course. And we got Mike in the call here too, by the way. So,
hey, brother Mike.
Aloha.
Aloha. Beautiful show, brother.
Yeah, man, it's tuning in quite beautifully, naturally.
Resonating.
Did you get your groove on this morning?
Oh, did we?
He had me dancing before he got my coffee, for God's sakes.
We laugh, we love, we dance, Kate. We tune in. We remember the truth. We share the love. Pretty simple, eh?
Yep. Oh, little header from D here. The human ego is the archon mind. Gosh darn. How about that?
Yeah,
ain't yours.
That Star Trek episode, Return of the Archons, where the society is run by a computer, and it tells them what to do, and if they aren't acting a specific way, it knows the ones that police it. These two things with these two blokes with the sticks, obviously representing police. They point this stick at them and they're dead. If you're not plugged into the computer control system. It's called Return of the Archons.
Oh, well, truth bumps.
Yeah, that goes back to the the ancient ways of where the medicine man or the witch doctor or shaman of the village is to Maori in Aboriginal Australia, a thing called pointing the bone. And if one of these individuals pointed the bone at an individual, it was basically a death sentence, and people would be dead within 24 hours. And it was funny when Mystified was talking about these archons that are hanging around at that lady's house. Go play a little magic there, Mystified. Just go outside and point at each one of them.
Yeah, don't be shy. Share that.
Don't be shy.
Right
Take them out.
To them.
Totally. You just gave yourself your own answer. Why not?
Yeah. No harm, no foul. What are they going to do?
Yeah, I get what you're saying.
If you feel pity for that little old lady, don't do it.
It wasn't. No, I feel pity for them for what they're doing, and
don't feel for them either.
Pieces of silver and
get into 0 point.
It's all free choice, man.
I was just
golden rule.
The coppers when I was talking to them, and I was actually getting. Remember the ones a few weeks ago that I was actually getting through to them. And
yes.
Then looking at these ones here where they won't even take us some water, it just I feel pity for them. I do.
Well, look, don't have another look at it from the we're beating them into a pulp perspective. This is how weak they are now. That they can't even accept that. They're done. So keep reinforcing the good aspect of it. I don't see what they're doing as empowerment for them. I see that as them being castrated. They're desperate.
Yeah. Totally.
So
because acts of violence are signs of desperation.
So grant some wishes. I grant you the wish of harm upon yourself that you're wishing there. I grant you your own doom. Yes, that's right. You get to see your mirror, and I grant you. Start and be in 0 point when you do it. No pity for the lady. No pity for the idiots, because she's making her stand. She doesn't need your pity. She's making her stand. That's a victor.
She needs your love. She doesn't need
all
for love. She needs your. That's it, girl.
Yeah, get her done, bitch.
Up.
Yeah, I'm pleased for her. That's just making the stand. As I was saying, I was just drawing attention to it, and those coppers they disgust me.
Well, that disgust will get you in trouble, so don't go there.
Yeah. And again, this is something I got to
say. Go there. I got to say, don't go there.
Yeah,
you just said something that says, don't go there.
Yeah, I've had to work through this, and I still have to work through this, you know. And it's finding it is finding that 0 point of neutral, so that you wipe them out. So for me, when I'm looking at these energies, I'm looking at them to dissolve them, so they no longer have an effect. Like think back to something that say happened 20 years ago that you were completely stressed out about. You look back now and go, "Huh, that was nothing." Well, what was the only difference between now and then? The illusion of time. Well, bring it into the now, because you're going to get over something eventually. Get over it now.
Yeah.
And you have all of these proofs in your life. You've already done this. You know, think about the first boyfriend or girlfriend you had in high school and how, or whatever, the first love and how it broke up and you were devastated, destroyed, and it lasted for weeks and months, and chances are you probably don't even remember their name now. That's how I look at everything. Why would it bother me now? Because I'm just going to get over it eventually. That's how I dealt with all the stuff regarding my family and Sue and everybody. I'm going to eventually, with enough time, get over it, so I just compress that time into now and say, I'm over it. And it's all good. I'm not going to let that control me. It's not going to pull on my heartstrings to shred my heart. Remember, people, when they die, like heart attacks and whatever, it's because too many of their heartstrings have been plucked. Their hearts get weakened with this. This is how we attach ourselves through this archonic mind into this delusional reality. It is nothing but a thought to me. And it takes a lot of practice, and I do it daily. There's still things that I have to overcome. But I am aware of these things. And it's not a matter of what do I need to overcome. It's like, oh, cool, I see that. How do I overcome this part of it? Okay. How do I overcome that part? Then I look at the why it's there, and then, oh, okay, good. Then I see the contrast, and it just blows off my lines. I'm done. So these Goonies, just point your finger at them and go, ah.
It's funny you should mention that, Kate, about heart attacks and one thing and another. One of my boyhood heroes when I was growing up, a wrestler called the Ultimate Warrior. He gave a speech at the Hall of Fame thing on Saturday night, saying that talking about like being in the ring and having like the crowd cheering and like all you can hear is your own heartbeat. And he said he would happily give some of his remaining years to experience that again. He experienced that again the next day, and he was dead the day after.
Imagine that. I guess he did.
Imagine that. I watched a father talk about dying for 4 years. It only took him 4 years.
Yeah. That where you put your energy and focus is what you're going to create,
This is the truth.
Do these guys know the harm they're committing against not only themselves but their families and everything else? This is why I just like to remind people. Those are the kangaroos all have jumping around in somebody else's head because they're totally unaware of them in their ignorance and their selfishness and their greed and their lust and their programming. Now, if it's an individual with any form of soul still left, it will resonate. Remember, the Grinch Who Stole Christmas had just that tiniest little scrap of heart left. Okay? That's what you need to appeal to. Plant that seed in the heart. Because some people have lost so much connection with reality in terms of compassion, love, and just living. They're not even aware of it anymore. Yeah.
And it's a child who did it. It's a child. Can you see the allegory? It was a child who did it. It wasn't the smart one. It was the one who embraced all three aspects of the Trinity. You are a child until you accept. Period. I don't see no bad guy, drunk guy, drug out guy, this guy, that guy, meat eater, blah, 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 blah. I see children. To what degree that they're lost, I can observe that. I don't have to judge it in observation. It's called discernment. It's freedom. No emotional charge in discernment. You judge someone, hear you well. Feel you well. That guy just makes me sick. Congratulations, God. I don't know why I got disease. I don't know why I got disease. I don't know why I got disease. We know these people. We've been these people. Bumps and bruises, I learn best. Why do it easy like the rest? Been saying that for a long time. And the spiritual ones, why do you say that? You don't have to do that. Actually, I prefer it. Because I see you. Doesn't seem to be working that well. I like the bumps and bruises. Give me a skateboard, quick. It's funny. Everybody has an idea of what it should be for you. Meanwhile, their world falls around them.
Yeah, that's completely nailed on. Those Zen people and like, that's you're thinking being negative and this and that, and meanwhile their life is completely in the toilet while they're giving other people advice.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Drinking in the closet, doing yoga.
Yeah.
That's Bikram yoga, dude.
That used to be me. I used to be one of those yoga teachers that used to drink in the closet. And it's just as of recent that I got my heart broken, and I had to learn how to overcome my ego in the most painful way. And thinking that I was already on the way to enlightenment just by having practiced yoga was a big wake-up call for me that took a really big bite out of my ego. And that is just by having someone who I thought I loved I do love him, but it was the kind of love that was a childish kind of love, a girl kind of love. So if I wouldn't have been listening to Kate in the last year, I don't think I'd have made it through that heartbreak. So I thank you for all the support and all the hours sitting down with all of us, all of me, and just pouring your heart out so that we can, aggregate that into our hearts, your energy and your light. So thank you, Kate.
Well, it's Amir, hon, so thank you. And that's
you.
why, yeah, we do this together, And I guess that's probably the biggest point of all is that we've all walked alone for so long in our own, what the hell is going on here? I don't even have to say it because you know exactly what I mean. And here we are finally walking together with all of those combined experiences that bring such a tour de force together with pure intent. And I saw a post there regarding this Bundy thing in Nevada. I've been kind of skimming over it. As a prime example of what I'm talking about tonight, if these guys knew at that site what it is I'm talking about here, all of that energy would just blow off. They'd stand down. The same way they stood down for me is the same way they have to stand down for you and everybody. And all you have to do is accept that truth. Once you accept that truth, welcome to your reality that no one is allowed to trespass in.
Keep the rule for others. The rule is held by God for you.
Mm-hmm.
If you need to be outside of yourself.
And very grateful, by the way, just to know that this table is doing exactly what it was intended to do. It's meant to be here for, it's like, bring us your tired, bring us your weary, This is the torch that we can all carry. And when some of us get tired, like myself and others, then there are others here that will pick that torch up and hold it high. And I've experienced that many times where I've been at very low points where others have held that torch and carried it. And I am most grateful. So I do understand the value of it because not only have I got to play a part in it, but I've also got to partake of it at the same time. And that's why this is where we're walking shoulder to shoulder. Prime example, I go right back to Band of Brothers again in the training of Currahee. The commanding officer is yelling at the men, do not help that man, make him stand on his own. While you look at that as being cruel, I also saw it as being the best kindness to make that individual not rely on anyone else. Because here's the thing, we can rely on each other. The fact now is we don't have to. We choose to. We choose to stand with each other versus lean on each other. And it's like we're all playing the ball forward. And when one of us gets a little tired, someone else picks the ball up and carries it forward. And we're all stand right there. Just look at nature. Canada geese, prime example. Everyone in that flock of geese is a leader because they all take turns. And that's what we do here. We all take turns.
You're the one that put this together, Kate. And honestly, the amount of stuff that I've learned from being here and being around all of the other people as well, it's made such a massive difference. I mean, the influence and role of my parents is just not even anywhere near the same level, you know what I mean? There's so much knowledge and wisdom floating around.
Do you know what I chose?
Hello.
When I made my deal, you know what I chose to be? I chose to be the servant of servants. Because in that way, to take the lowest of low would open the doors to finding out the highest of high.
Hey.
It had to be a mirror, and I knew that. So I figure if I'm going to figure something out, And I want to find the mirror of, in terms of all power in the benevolent sense, then I will take all no power in the benevolent sense. And it seems to have panned out, don't you think? And again, this is what all of us are. And again, I'm not knocking what I'm doing, and I'm not appreciative. I just keep it very neutral, because this is what we all are. You can call it humility or whatever the case may be. I don't really have any words for it. It's just simply a truth to me, that it only makes sense that we do this together. There are no leaders, and they're all leaders. And this is the one thing that those in the system have dreaded, and you guys saw a lot of it happening over the last year or so, where a lot of these groups were setting up, and there wasn't one defined leader in the group. They couldn't take out the Malcolm X. They couldn't take out the Martin Luther King. They couldn't take out the individual that was deemed the leader, because they love to make leaders out of things. That's why I was beyond happy knowing that my name and one other, that a friend of mine, Mary Croft, and her name, were not on this list of the top free men problems in Canada, right? We, of course, we're not on the list, because we're not of that ilk. That was the whole joke about me. I had no interest in it, but they love to brand. That's what branded means, brain dead. They love to brain dead their little titles and what have you, so they can get their minions to just follow along like children. And that's all they are. That's all I saw that Friday night a few weeks back. I just saw, actually I only saw two up close, but the other one, all I saw were children. And looking in my rear view, these children were just scattered around. They didn't know whether the arsehole was punched or burned. They didn't know what to do with themselves. I can only imagine what went through their little noggins when they said, stand down. What? Oh, my training just went for a shit. Yeah, because all your training revolves around one thing and one thing only. You got no name, you got no game. You got no registration numbers, you got no game. You got no live plates, relates, you got no live relative on the back of the car. You got nothing to talk to that individual about. You see, the whole thing boils down to, are you of the Whore of Babylon family of the dead? And that's what it is. They have big family, right? She wants her dead babies. Papa and Mama Whore, dead whores of Babylon, they want their dead kids. That's what the Pope and the Queen are all about. And of course, they have their hall monitor called Washington, D.C. To keep all the kids in line. And if you're saying you're part of that system, then you're saying you're part of the family. And what happens to someone that tries to leave the family? Well, you better go into the witness protection program and change your name. You see, all the allegories are there. All you got to do then is remove any contact of name, contract of name, and you are no longer dead. You are the living will and testament. You are the one that's speaking in the now. And you command mountains. You command oceans. Can you handle it? That's the only question you got to ask yourself. And that, to me, is the only thing that holds people back. It's a lot of responsibility. And if you haven't got the knowledge yet, then great. You'll get the responsibility as you get the knowledge, and then, of course, applied knowledge becomes wisdom. The experience, that's what Christ consciousness is. It's right there in Capricorn. I experience not. And when you're in neutral, you don't make it your concern. It's none of your duality, state of being dual, business. Biz means two or duality. Ness is a state of being. That's what happens when people go into business. They're going to a state of duality, something separate from themselves. I just chose to get real singular on this. That's all. And I'm so grateful that so many of you have gathered at this table, because this is your table. Better do a shout out. We got 18 minutes, and I'm not sure how much I'm going to roll on tonight. That'll be up to you guys. Yay! Hang on, Richie. Just let me get this shout out done, then you're in right after it, okay? Just let me get the shout out done, and then Richie's. All right. Richie's up the bat.
Hi, Richie.
Okay. Great big thank you to Paul Giovanni and the crew at criticalmassradio.co.uk. Without this table, we wouldn't have a place to be sitting. So any energy that you guys want to flow it towards the hub of the wheel, and that is criticalmassradio.co.uk, either in the form of intent or if there's energy that you want to transmute into pure poison to the system whore, you can flow that way as well. And know that it will be transmuted, as it is every single night at this table without question. Much love and appreciation. For those that want to call in, you can call in at 661-467-2401. And, of course, PIN BTR listener 021 is the Skype contact, or you can go through the Blog Talk page, hit the Skype, and go on from there. That being said, not sure how far we're going to roll over, but if you want to get in that, you better get in on the board now. We have 30 on the board right now. There's always a lot more show up right about now anyway, just to catch the last bit. But that being said, Richie, the floor is yours.
Oh, geez. You should be 33. That'd be good. Yeah, I like what you said. We're stepping up to the plate, right? We're coming in by the truckloads, Kate, Darren, Mystified, Mike, Ollie is, listening in, tuning in here. And Darren, man, I'm going to start calling you Jacob, brother, because you're climbing that ladder. I hear you loud and clear. You notice that? You're absolutely the Pentecost, right? I know that. I got to look that up, study that a little bit more. But the Pentecost, man, I'm going to be getting a witness here. Can I get a witness? Is that a song? Can I get a witness?
Great tune. Great tune.
Yeah.
Can I get a witness? That was one of the few cover tunes I ever did.
The only
Really?
thing I can claim, Richie, is observing the self.
Yeah.
Claiming the self. That's the only thing I share, period. I share.
Yeah.
I can't, it's not me. Downloads come, but they come greater when it's shared. That's why I'm looking forward to some of the individuals out there who are on the edge of the chair calling.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
They got loads of it. And we'll give you the space. You got the space. The mute button works really good on my end. And
it's a tricky button right there.
I attribute everything to all those who have come before me. And those who have harmed me, thanks for helping me create that bullshit so I could see it for what it was.
Yeah.
Because I forgive you. I don't hold nothing against no one. No contracts. I keep finding more and more of them inside my sneaky little brain. And they just keep clearing out. Had a huge one this morning sitting on the steps with Mike. I'm in the sun. He's at his place. And that's how it's working. It's just like you said, truckloads of it. So thank you. Thank you for witnessing me.
Man. Absolutely. Yeah. No problem, brother. Huh. Yeah, good stuff. And that's what we're doing here. We're unraveling the mysteries of our existence, and standing in it. It's sharing. I've shared the nightmares of others, and others have shared the nightmares of my own stupid ass shit. And I like what Kate said too. Is that when you have those moments there where you do something, you step outside the box and anticipating like a reaction, but maybe a day, a week, a year, 10 years later, you see the reason behind doing it. Something in that regards. There's so many points that you guys hit that in my own mind I've embraced and experienced it within myself, and then trying to like on the spot, trying to communicate this. You know what I'm saying? Like when things go fractal and you hear something and you know that there's a really good message there, and you want to piggyback on it. So it's like when I hear things a second time around. My ears weren't tuned in quite as well. I was off daydreaming with some thought or something. But that's awesome.
Yeah, I love
and,
the recording.
like you, So we're unraveling the mysteries and taking things, lifting things up one by one and taking things down.
Yeah.
We're going up and down the elevator.
Yeah. Now, if we could get that truth coming from all those who have their part. I know I got lots left, lots of space for more. Nothing. I have no lines. I want more from all of you, because we're seeing it. And thank you so much for sharing your story, Yoga. I forgot your name. Pardon me.
Yeah, it's all about honesty.
Yeah, because that honesty with the self is the trump. It's the one.
What did you say? She was a closet Yoga. Yeah. That was good. Tracy, is her name Tracy?
No, I didn't. The voice is familiar, and the number, the number was familiar too. I got too many people I have to try to remember here, so forgive me on this one. I do my best, you know.
Well, hey, we're losing the name, so whatever.
I know.
Yeah,
it's a good thing.
The spirit's all that matters.
Yeah, that's only the name is just like Kate's a map. You know?
Yeah, just choose something you want that resonates with you, like you like to be referred to as, rather than what you were hyphens given.
Yeah, sure, Mr. Bud. And you know what comes even clearer?
Yeah.
When you go into certain, let's call it places where you can't sometimes see the being you're communicating with, and you hear this laughter. And it's kind of like you know certain people by their laugh. This is what I'm getting at. Not even just in some entheogenic journey. You hear somebody's laugh and you go, I know that guy, or I remember him, and like this. That's almost more truly what our signature is. Our signature isn't this name game we've been playing at. Our signature is this resonance of the heart that we share through laughter.
Right.
Beautifully shared. That is bangerang. Oh, yeah. It's on. That's how I operate.
Hey, yeah. Have you guys watched the 90? There's another thing too. I'm writing it down. There's this that it's like that song 99 Red Balloons, and it related to a video. This lady, she does videos, and she was talking about, and I guess in January this year, 2014, I guess that that Christ statue they got set up on a hill. I think it's in Rio de Janeiro.
Yeah.
Or
Rio.
Brazil. Yeah, and it was, I guess the hand was struck by lightning. They show the lightning hitting the tips of the fingers. And she said that she had a dream or something about a bunch of balloons going up in the air. And I'll get the name of the video. I didn't watch it all because I'm all over the place. But and in that song, 99 Red Balloons, it says we have orders to. It says everyone's a superhero. Everyone's a Captain Kirk. We have orders to identify, classify, and something. So that's what it is we can identify, through like what Mike was saying, that frequency, that laughter, or, and then it says, this is it, boys. This is war, right? This is it, boys. This is war. That's what it is this frequency, this identity that we're remembering, or going up that Jacob's ladder, going up into that higher realm, into the heaven, right? The heavens. That's this shift is not going to be easy, and the more people that raise themselves up into it, we're absolutely going to be affecting the I don't like to say ley lines, but the connection, I guess you could say, the grid, the grid that all beings and things are connected to. One person who awakens, like Kate says, if only one would awaken, that one that awakens may affect the whole friggin' country. Half the world perhaps. I don't know. So there's
when I dance, Richie, when I tune in, my remembrance is all. I'm connected to all. No one's in my. And sometimes I think of this, and this is. Sometimes I'm like, am I being a little egotistical here? Because I'm feeling empowered, and I guess it's in some way the ego trying to catch me as I'm flying and tuning in. Mm-hmm. And my remembrance is, look, we are quite naturally connected to all of each other through the heart center.
Absolutely, yeah.
And with
ultimately,
that, tune in, and we start really like moving and just, well, even if you're not moving, what generally is remembrance is you know that we're all connected through the heart, and you start, in a way, sending your signal, amplifying the connection so it gets louder. So it basically, people will no longer be tuning into the distortion. They're quite naturally tuning into their own heart. The more each and every one of us does it, it creates a natural, the resonance grows stronger. It grows stronger.
Right.
And then that's how you see, like the, I'll call it the fictional reality, the distortion, the limiting frequencies, they become less and less, and you can't tune into anymore. The signal's so weak, it's basically dead, in my book. And the only, we're just tuning into some residue. And once again, making it a scary beast, and it's of our own making.
Yeah.
So we don't
Amazing.
need, because
well
we're connected back into the heart. And when I do that, I mean, I really feel it, guys. I'm like, whoo, this touches everyone. This is, I don't mean just on this planet here. This is interdimensional. This is intergalactical. This is everywhere. And it's just so harmonious. It's the love flowing. And wow, sometimes it beats fast and strong, and sometimes it beats slow and soft. It's coming from the same core, and this is what we're tuning into more and more. And quite naturally, the old, the non-organic grid is dissolving, and you can. It's almost if you watch the Mexican soap operas, what's the name there? I mean, some people do it. They don't even know Spanish. They just watched it and it's like watching Indian movies and stuff, the Bollywood dance. You don't know it, but you're watching all this just drama and stuff. I mean, and now we're realizing that the whole charade of politics and religion and all of that was the same thing. It's Hollywood on another stage. And we're recognizing that, and we're going, what, that doesn't control my life? Nope. Sure doesn't. You do. Wait a second, that government isn't, no. How many times? Same answer. It's you. Mm-hmm. And with that remembrance, I really do not see any foundation. There is no foundation for the old system. There never was a foundation. It's a duplicate. It has actually no connection to the organic grid. It's just, as we sometimes say, it's an overlay, masquerading as what is, and giving us false evidence is appearing real. You know, pumping the fear out there, and it used to do that. It used to pump that fear, and as so many beautiful points of our consciousness come to table to realize, hey, thank you for showing that part of me. I'll clear it. Thank you. And then we have fun then. So I was responsible. Well, look at all this joy that now shines in.
Clear the space.
Yeah. You know what I almost think, too, because of the witnessing moment that I had and I keep talking about, and I'm just going to let my intuition and the moment guide me here, is that you know, because I know darkness was there first. When I hear Kate talking about this, the void is, and I'm just throwing it out there. I'm not, you know, I almost think as if that with fear, that this energy, I almost think that is the thing that sparked and spun this whole universe into existence, you know. And I think that question, so that primordial part that is still with us and always will be, but has risen itself. That is in my idea.
You realize that even with fear, because you're going to face your own. So you realize even this fear is nothing, really, at the heart of the matter. You laugh. You realize it was, that's what I was...
well, it motivates you.
It's not destructive.
It's definitely a motivator.
It's definitely a motivator, but it's not the structure of where we live. It's you could say it's a motivator. It's more clearly. It's got no basis in reality, actually.
Just to jump in here for a sec, guys. Just over 2 minutes left here for those that want to call in. 661-467-2401. Still got room for a few more callers, and to let you know that 774 is in, and got a bunch of lines open here, so just keep that in the back of the mind. Who else we got? Yep, that's 956 is in, 774, and who? Sorry. Hello. That sounds like Patty.
Patty.
Okay, lines are open. Please chime in.
Yeah, chime in, guys. Lines are open. Who hasn't been in yet, just say something so we know we got you.
I think that was 774.
Spill your energy, your juice. Spill it on the table so we can bask in its glory. Or Corey.
Corey, yeah. 774 did jump in there.
Yep, I'm here.
Hey, there you are. Okay. Well, state your piece. You got the floor.
I was just going to go on mute. I can't talk right now.
It's all good. I got a minute to roll over here. So, no worries. I'll leave the mic open. You feel like jumping in? I just like to make sure when people put their hand up, get the mics open and see what they have to say. Other than that, I'm just going to carry on here and let you guys roll it. I'm going to smoke a bowl while that's go.
Medicine, it'll make you grin on your chin. Yeah, it's amazing. Yeah. So, Mikey.
Yeah, man.
How was that ocean waters? Did you swim?
No, I put my feet in the water, though. I was, it's already, I'm going to have to do my show earlier now. I think I'm going to start it at 3:33 Hawaii Dream Time. I got to move it. It's got to move.
Yeah, it's got to shift with the sun, eh?
Exactly. Well, yeah, with all of us. And
Hey, Mike, what day do you do that?
Monday, Wednesday,
Thursday?
Friday.
Monday, Wednesday, Friday. Is there a special number to call in?
Yeah, there is one up. Is
it on the Critical Mass?
If you go in the Critical Mass Radio blog talk, you'll get it.
Mm-hmm. All right. I'll do that. Okay.
Just like how we found Kate, you know what I mean? It's sometimes when we mess around with the internet and this technology, it's like, this stuff ain't working. And it's just like, wait a second. You give it the orders. You're higher tech. You're way higher tech than any man-made thing, because we made it. That's what it says, man-made. Man made it. What more do you need to say? If a man made it, the man is higher tech than what he made. The materials you use are not something separate than yourself. Everything that you find on the earth or in this universe to build with, you got within inside yourself. So right there, for me, that's clear. Technology is always, if we want to talk in terms of that, a step behind the natural organic technology. A step behind, many, and that's okay. It's like if you hurt your leg, you need a cane. Use a cane for a while, and so that's what we use with some of these things. Me, I'm cool with the magic carpet to fly around. I don't need a car and making loud noises.
And it's all steps.
Yeah.
I mean, whatever you find, gain the knowledge of it, but let it be a grain of salt, and whatever's in your water will just dissolve away. You make something one way.
Fly.
Yeah, you make one thing one way. There's no other way. That's it. Enjoy. Limited.
Yeah, unlimited. And this is the beauty of it. We're seeing beyond the dualistic mind, and that's what Kate shares. Yeah. That's what the Emerald Table tunes in, and we all are sharing, and that we're moving out of that polarity. We've moved out of it because we are beyond it.
Yeah.
So,
it took me 5 months to get the handle of define me, limit me.
Right
5 months. 5 months I worked with that sucker.
There it is in a nutshell again. Define.
But you worked on it. That's it, Jeremy. You're working your mind. That's what I did. I said I'm because I was up there. Then then Lucifer, right? That energy fell. Right, the fall, the third is that. I was up into that, and then I demanded. I couldn't write a friggin' sentence 2 years ago, right? And then I'm talking to, I write a lot of stuff on, like with the comments. I'm writing using the max. It's like 500, but you can go on and on. I mean, I've probably written close to over 1,000 people just writing letters and formulating words and concepts and putting it as I demanded it. I didn't ask it. Do you think maybe I could write a sentence?
It's
the inability to speak. So I just want to say what Darren's doing. Is that this energy that is in us? It's meant to be worked, recognized, and used. And absolutely, you got to seek to find, and and that's those are the steps. That's the magic.
Yeah, I always ask.
Mhm. And you won't be let down. No one will.
No, it's this communication, Richie, that you're sharing with that. Many times when if you look in the so-called past, that people would write letters to each other. That was the fast way of communication. And that's how, in a way, learned people would share across the planet. They'd write letters to each other and hold these conversations across time and space. And lo and behold, what are we doing? Same thing. We can imagine there's time and space between us, and then we kind of, as things got clearer, we're recognizing it right now that we're in 0 point. There's no time and space between us, because right now you're hearing me like I'm sitting right next to you. Holding your hand. You're right. So we're touching. That's just showing this that we're already connected, like we're saying, in the heart, and that's all.
That's magical. Yeah.
And so with this,
incredible.
What's the next? What I would call the next? I don't even want to say step. What is next? Also, because there's many different things, but what is next also is where. Well, I'm going. I know it's not like you're saying. I want to learn how to fly or remember how to fly, and it's almost the words are coming clearer how to even express this. Like sometimes I joke I'm going to swim through the air, and to express how it's or magic carpet. There's this way we will move about. We do move about quite more freely and consciously. Where if I want to be standing right there in Hampton Beach, walk up a little bit to Rye and put my feet in the water and watch the sunrise, I can come and do it, and my mom can be right there.
How do you know about Rye? That's right. Didn't you say your mother lives in New Hampshire?
Yeah, man. I've done what I just said before, brother. That's how come I know. And
yeah, you know about Rye, huh?
Savoir-faire is everywhere, man.
So you lived in New Hampshire. That's. I thought I remembered you saying something. That's the thing that I didn't comment on. I just kind of, I went off into whatever direction. But so you've lived in New Hampshire?
Yeah, I've lived in Mass and New Hampshire.
All right, now you're in Hawaii.
Straight up, man. I experienced one winter. Came back after, I don't know, many moons, and experienced the winter again. And brother, I ain't been back for another winter. I've been here.
Come on, Mike.
So I'll visit. No problem visiting.
Yeah.
Living. My mother loves it. My mother likes the cold weather, for example. People do. It's kind of.
I do too.
I used to always be like, how? What? Because I'm in the tropics and warm weather since I, 23, and with that. To change and realize that, there's people who like different things. Lo and behold, isn't that funny? People prefer different things. Get your fucking ego out of the way, Mike. And but what was the more of the reminder of that is these seasons we go through. These and this equinox really brought it home to me again about this sense of time and us in a physical way we describe how we go around the sun and we spin around and all of this. that to me is a limited perspective of our reality, big time. And yes, eyes open, that's one perception of how we do this. But again, I don't see the sun as that nuclear furnace thing, that whatever the fuck they say. I don't buy that at all. Why would you buy it? All the other crap they were selling you. And hey, I'm not blaming anyone, man. I'm part of, let's put it right back onto owning my responsibility in this game. But all the other bullshit we were all shoveling about in our so-called history books and the way things are, and we realized, man, that was a load of crap. That was not true. That was not true. That was not true. And we realized, wait a second, all what they were mostly teaching us was a limited thing. So maybe they had partial truths. So why would we buy example of the apple hit Newton on the head, now we got gravity? Fuck you, that was only half the picture. Yeah? Because the tree grew up from a seed and grew up through gravity? No. All Newton marked was when it hit him on the head, it fell. What about when it rise? What about when that tree rose? That's gravity. No, it isn't, according to them. Because they ain't got that concept right. Again, that was their concept. Black holes sucking over there. I'm like, what friggin' part are you describing this time in your made-up example of what you think this is? And that's what's so beautiful coming to the Emerald Table, because we can share this and somebody will call it bullshit if it is, and we'll thank them.
Funny, Mike. Oh.
So for me, I'm remembering, I've listened, I'm tuning in, I'm hearing other beings' perspective of what is, and it just shatters the mainstream science, mainstream just basic things what we took for granted of, this is how things are, even though gravity's never been explained in a scientific way. This is how it is, even though it's half an Einstein formula that even Einstein said this isn't even fucking it. So you know what I mean? And we're based our science books 100 years based on the same shit now, and I'm like, what? Guys, don't you see this? It's all a bunch of bullshit, and it's for you to see it so you can recognize it in yourself and have a fun time now.
Hey, these ones that are thinking outside, the box, though, they do streamline and let them come through. Because I think it's, I love listening to stuff like what you're talking about in sincerity, the truth, and people. Because I know there's a lot of people that are more intellectually smarter than I am, and have centered themselves into putting things. And we need those people, you know what I'm saying? I wouldn't discard them at all.
What
I'm talking about, what you're saying, right, is rewriting the history of, like, Nassim Haramein. Like, the first time I saw that, I was like, wow, that we're traveling, you know what I'm saying? We're going somewhere. I tend to think that the Earth and the Sun and the planets, as we're traveling, that they know where they're going. I hope they go, there's a set path. I'm guessing that there's a greater intelligence within these these balls that we're walking around on. That they got a good idea where we're.
Yeah, it's
you know what I'm saying?
It's everyone actually. Because it's no separation. And this is what I'm saying. When people tend to describe here in a scientific way, even in this somatics, even in how you see the fractal and all. Even how all these beautiful images showing you in deep space, the galaxy and everything, and then showing you images of the body. Hey, man, telling you the damn truth, brothers. This is old news.
Well,
this is old news. Thank you for the refresher. Let's go next.
Yeah. Well, that's what, like Kate says, if we're operating, I see Nassim Haramein, and I'm sure there's others, I just haven't come across them yet, that they're operating on both hemispheres, because you can see and hear the openness within them. And he's talking about how we're actually corkscrewing through the universe. There's a rotation going on, but we're not, because he calls that Groundhog Day, like we've been talking about, like Groundhog Day.
Yeah, you have to look at this in many different ways, and this is what we're doing, and it's
kind of like when water goes down a drain, it spirals down. Hurricanes on the back of your head. If you look at the back of your head, your crown, there's a spiral back there. It's just like
when you look at the Taurus,
the galaxy.
See, yeah, and when you look at the Taurus field and you see some of this, how it kind of folds back in on itself. As you were sharing earlier, it's like being and becoming. It's not it's not in two different places, or it's not in a now I'm being and now I'm becoming. It's in the same moment always. Just like when this is what I was sharing at, in a 0 point in the balance, we transcend how we're moving through space. Again, how we're moving through space. It's a different actual field than what we have been projecting out here and looking at. Now, it's not. I'm not saying that's false. I'm not saying anything of that nature. What I'm saying is that there's more to the picture.
Absolutely, yeah.
It's describing something very intimate. And because a lot of times we can look at this wondrous stuff and then leave it at that and go, okay. And I'm like, guys, when we do that, many times we forget to come back to the self. Again, what happens is we're putting there's some supreme being who designed all this, and it's just another form of how, in empowering ourselves, we can get lost in the wonder again. That's all I'm sharing, because that's what happened to me sometimes, where, man, you can look into the deep space, and what you're going to end up coming back to is always the self.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, that's Mike, and that's what I say, and I say with a lot of people is that, and this is the contrast thing that I deal with. It's a tool now. Is that right? When you become, it's kind of like, and I use this saying too. It's kind of like, well, when was the beginning? Well, the beginning was when I became conscious. As soon as my conscious idea and I'm able to comprehend, I exist. I exist. Right, and I just think of it in a kid-like way, like, wow, how'd that happen, right? What genie bottle did I pop out of?
Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah, and like you said too, is right. Is that is that I'm always going to, right? So it's like I'm never not going to be who I am, that core. I'm always going to and that's and I'm okay, and I want to live with that being that I've become and am becoming. You know what I'm saying?
Well, it's when we say you're not all grown up, it's because we're all still growing, and that's a good thing because we're not stagnant beings.
Right.
And here's the other thing, Richie. Thanks for sharing. What we got to remember for like Santos and Kate and Nassim Harriman and say Mark Passio even, that sometimes people will only hear one part of the message that they share because, like for Kate with the language, she's just, beyond an expert. Santos with the zodiac and so much other, he's just so in tune with the knowledge. Nassim Harriman and different guys in their fields. And what we can get caught on is, and we know from our experience with Kate and Santos that they're beyond whatever thing you're thinking. We're not just about the language. We're not just about the zodiac. And we can think that that's all that people are about, and forgetting the bigger picture in a way.
Yeah, what's it? Not a master, a jack of all trades and master of nothing. That's kind of like where I put myself, in that. I haven't really. I think the only thing that I'm an expert in was I figured out and completed and accomplished the Rubik's Cube. I'm an expert in that.
This is what I really like about Frank Chester, and I only watched. It only took me watching not even the first hour of this one. This one workshop or whatever you want to call it, he shared, and he described the heart of the planet. He described the core. He showed how it's the same one with inside of us, same structure. Why wouldn't it be? Exactly. And just showed the interrelationship of it. And for that, I just like, it was almost like I knew it. Thank you.
For what?
Clearer and clearer is that this is where everyone's going to be basically an expert in, is love. Because that's what's here. That's where we're operating in. That's the field we're in is the heart. And it encompasses, whatever way you want to look at it, it's all. And so that's the resonant frequency. And so that's the base, that's the foundation, that's the ground you stand on. That's what is coming. That's what's coming out. That's what's coming through. That's what's being shared. And with that, you recognize that anything in terms of, well, basically fear has it can't. Yeah, my son. You can't plant it anymore. Is what I'm saying. You can't plant those old seeds of fear anymore. So what's happening is basically you're going to have to face them. You're facing them any which way, and everyone. This is what's natural. And what's becoming is they're being dispelled. Recognize rain as a force in nature of truth, dispelling all the fears, all the lies. See nature as this. Recognize it's just not rain. Recognize the wind as a force of nature. And what I'm sharing here is tuning back into the power of your imagination to tune into the dreaming of this world you really also are living in, the one that you're actually standing on. Because the other one, you're up in the clouds. You're up in the clouds just by simply the shoes you wear. You know, you're that little bit disconnected, and many people don't have the chance. They just don't remember. I've gone through periods of this where I did not put my feet on the ground. It's amazing how we forget that. Yeah, I took my shoes off in the house. Did you take your shoes off on the ground? Mike, you're talking something so simple. How does this save the fucking world, man? And I'm like, how does it save the fucking world? What it does is it connects you to the real one, and the bullshit that you thought was real disappears.
Yay.
That's funny you said that, yeah, because I was just thinking to myself, because I'm stuck on this 99 red balloons thing. I'm probably going to beat this thing. And I'm like, the whole universe is depending on everyone listening to this song. That's all we got to do. Something just it's just simple, you know.
And I remember listening to that song when I was a kid, smaller, let's say it. I don't even want to put in terms of young. When I was smaller, I remember they did two versions. They had the English and they had the German, or it was German, a mixed match of both. And you know, I feel that was one of those videos that came along when we were smaller that really caught a lot of the youth's attention, and you know, where we're from, Richie, and at least that neck of the woods I know. And it was one of those, so I'm quite familiar with it, man. I listened to that tune when I was smaller a lot.
Mm-hmm.
Going, I don't know what the fuck they're saying in German, man, but they're dancing, they're having it, they're standing up, they ain't taking the bullshit anymore, and this is just what it reminds me of. When you tune in and you start dancing, you start moving your body, and you start even, whether you do this from sitting still in a meditation, and you get up and you tune in from dancing, with feet on the ground. And what I'm telling you clear is you will feel the power again. And you will look at this and laugh and go, run, fuckers. Here I am, you know, all I'm come free. We're playing now. And this isn't, you know, I'm not like upset at anyone, fuckers. You know what I mean? It's my friend. Run, fuckers, here I am. And it's beautiful because in this state, we're coming from love, and we're like, woo, we got some energy to share here. And if you're holding on to something of harmful nature or harmful unnature, you're going to drop it There's no more sharing that shit. And it's even coming clearer with ourselves. And that's where the first reminder is. We can look outside in the world. We can look outside in the TV, the movies, down your street, in the store, and look at another and say, oh, how they're fucked up, or how they're doing something that maybe is not quite resonating what you feel is in the heart. Cool. Recognize it, discernment, and then look back at yourself in any which shape, fashion, or form that we're doing this, and call ourselves on it. Not to beat ourselves up on it. And that's really important. Not to beat ourselves up on it, but to call ourselves on it and go, do I want to continue in that, doing that? No, I don't. Will I do it again? Yes. I'm going to forgive myself. I'm not going to forget. All right? I'm not going to beat myself up. Whether I failed the so-called test again, whether I flunked it, I didn't spell this right, I didn't score high enough. Guys, we all passed. Guess why? You're here. You passed. All right? Just remember that. You don't have nothing to attain because you already have it. That's, again, putting stuff outside of ourselves where just in the language, in the programming, you see just in, oh, yeah, it's, again, it's...
Well, you know what, as you go, like, yeah, because it's the quickening. There's a quickening, and I still haven't gotten it, and I probably, like I said, I'm letting my intuition guide it, but there is a higher state, and this is within each individual. This is just something I did at this point of consciousness that I'm at, and it is breaking down barriers, fear barriers, but that highest consciousness state, this is the Jacob's ladder thing, is climbing up that point, and yeah, what I do is I've stood out in front of the end of my driveway with some music, listening to some music, and I just started dancing. While all the cars are driving by, waving to everybody. And some people, you know what I'm saying? What I'd experienced, sometimes I feel the embarrassment from what someone else is doing. It's like you know what I'm saying? Like, wow, boy, I'd be shy to do that. Like, and so I'm just being, real in that essence. But I'm like, you know what? It's like I'm just gonna go out and just start friggin' dancing, and I'm waving, and some people are laughing and waving, and others, I'm sure, thinking the thoughts that they were kind of like, oh no, he's, whatever.
Say you're walking down the street, Richie, and here's how we do it every day. I'll share how. This is the beauty of it. What we're reminding.
Hey, Mike, before you say that though, what I wanted to say too, to add on to that, is that the importance of each being, right? It's important, is that to think that this world, this universe, this existence of ours depends on you, solely on you, to be bold enough, to be brave enough, and to recognize how important your being, your existence is, to think that you're unworthy, is get past that illusion and get past that barrier, that thought, because that's not the being that I recognize. I want to recognize superior or supreme, the supreme being. That those are the ones I want to be in, and the ones that don't recognize that, well, then that's what Kate and I and others recognize as me being. I'm a servant. I consider myself a servant to that, because I want to. Is the importance of you is what keeps everything in existence, and playing with that conscious recognition that all beings are worthy, and otherwise we wouldn't be conscious of ourselves. If you're conscious, I mean, that's what greater gift could you have, than to just exist. That's like incredible. I mean, that's and all the other stuff, that gets in the way of recognizing. That's what it brings you into to a higher state, to a state of mind that is all powerful. So, all right, go ahead. I just wanted to get that out before I, lost it. That thought.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah, Richie. Of course, it has to be that way because when we say all is self, it's not that we're saying, oh, it's just all is self for Mike. No, it's all is self for each and every individual. So in that way, we're reminded of our uniqueness and also our, it's beautiful. And, here's something I was going to share earlier.
I don't know what, but hey.
So when you're walking down the street or in a store or someplace, I don't want to say store. When you're walking down the street, you happen to be in some building, wherever you may be, and sometimes you, you're in a path in the jungle, and someone you walk in, and all of a sudden you almost bump into each other, and you kind of like slide out of the way. What I like to share with when this happens with me, I'll look at the person, I'll say, "Oh, we're dancing."
Yeah, start dancing.
See, I haven't yet, but I'm recognizing. Say, did we just bump into each other, or I'm like, no, we're dancing. What else? Why else would our bodies come this close to each other? Usually, it's when you're dancing with someone, and so quite naturally, I'm reminded of this. And it's kind of like, hey, because otherwise, man, I might just bump right back into you. And I'm like, ego, get back in check. I've walked down the street in London so many times, it's bumping into people left, right, and center. I didn't have to, but I was like, no one's looking. And if I didn't dodge left, right, I'm like, okay, I'm just going to walk. People want to bump into me, they can. And then, that gets old hat. It gets all, you get kind of pissed off. So here I am. I'm like, how do we do this consciously? Well, when I'm recognizing it, hey, we're dancing. And sometimes people chuckle. Sometimes people laugh. But yeah, it'd be great if someone starts dancing. Nice tune comes over the speakers. Yeah, beautiful. This is it. People do these things. And just because we haven't heard it or saw it on TV doesn't mean that people aren't sharing these just most beautiful, intimate sharings with each other on a daily basis. And we can look at the doom and gloom and how the powers that want it to be are still playing that, the old drama game where we can get caught up and thinking it's ruling our life. And we're like, oh, it's me. Look at the shit that's happening now. And I'm like, that ain't happening. I'm conscious of what's going down. I'm conscious of I'm aware. And I'm sharing you with how we remember on a simple way that we can bring joy into our life. And the more we bring joy into our life, we'll be living. And when we live, that's how you truly, you're going to watch whatever was so-called limiting you disappear. It's going to dissolve. It's going to go away. Bye-bye. And you're going to thank it. And otherwise, you're in a loop with yourself. I look at it like. And we can externalize it again and say, well, it's time, it's this or that. Nope, it isn't. And this isn't now, what kind of big responsibility did I just open up to? Self. There's still fear surrounding this. Just, am I good enough? Being me? Yeah.
Yeah.
Just much reminded of it. That limited thing when this question is posed, you're not that limiting construct that fear is trying to represent there. And so we sit in our clarity and we recognize that it's not just us, it's not just one of us, It's not just, well, again, when we look at it from a limited perspective, those are the words we are tending to use to describe it. And now what's happening is, well, you call it Christ consciousness, you call it unity consciousness. This is living in the heart. And with this, you're going to,
Yeah. See, it's JC, baby. Jesus Christ. But see, my idea, well, most of us, I'm guessing here that our idea is so far from the mainstream, fundamentalists. I mean, think of the help they need.
I'm not so sure about that.
Hole they've dug themselves into with
Yeah, so it's 3:33 here in Hawaii Dream Time.
3:33.
Yeah. And
JC, baby. See
so
that?
I don't see the masses. I don't see the rest like that anymore, Richie. I see some aspect of ourselves that are kind of asleep or remaining ignorant. But last time I checked, if you had a heart, it's pure at its core. It's pure in its core. If you don't have a heart, well, fucking get the fuck out of here.
Out of here.
Yeah. Well, that's why, like, what I'm like the fall, like when they talk about the fall, and that's what it is. We're going up Jacob's ladder. I mean, and I'm not going to pretend I know exactly how this time capsule, right? I call a body operates, but we're getting a good idea. We're unraveling the mysteries of how it all works, and it directly relates to my own personal experience with these different things that I had no clue about. I didn't even have to know what a pineal gland was or anything for it to operate and work, But that's why it's like us coming together and taking a piece. There's a piece here, and my ear's ringing right now. This is the other thing too I wanted to say, and I forgot this like 2 days ago, and I forget who it was that came on. Like 1 minute before the show started, my left ear, it was just like was ringing. It was like a, they ring every so often, but this was like a bogging, like a, real. And then when I was laying down, just tuning in and listening, I didn't chime in or anything. I'm just listening to everyone, and they started ringing again. And just now, Mike, like as you were talking, it started ringing again. It's still ringing. Yep, I thought it might be through the phone. I just took my ear away from the phone. Yeah, so our frequencies and the people that are tuning in and raising that level, we're affecting each other on a grand scale. Absolutely, without a doubt. This is magical. Yeah, still ringing.
Mike, when you get
when
a
I
chance,
take ayahuasca, my ears
anybody
ring
else's
like crazy.
ears ringing?
It's still ringing.
Okay, somebody.
Guys, you're jumping all over each other again. I've heard people come in and they both got jumped on. So slow down.
Hey, Kate.
Hi, I'm still here. I'm just listening. Letting you guys go.
All right.
I heard a female voice and then I got jumped all over.
Yeah, I heard someone too.
Yeah.
That's me. Be more careful. Barbara. Tell Mike. I heard him talking about a heart. I want him to look at Dionne Warwick made a song years ago, said anyone who had a heart could look at me and know that I love you. So if you ever get an opportunity, look that up on the musical net and see Dionne Warwick, anyone who had a heart. That's the name of it. I think it was written by that young man called Burt Bacharach, but she sung it with it. Anyone who had a heart.
Yeah, I found it. Yeah, I'll be listening. Thank you, Bara. Aloha. So anyone else like to chime in? Please do.
I was just saying, like when everyone was all, I think it was the delay, when he went about ringing in the ears, Richie, when I take ayahuasca, the ringing in my ears is insane.
Is
it's
it?
Like,
yeah.
Both of them like that. It just
Whoa.
builds up and builds up.
Yeah, I'll share this. I'll share this, Mr.
For real?
So what's happening? Yeah. What's happening is, when you have an ayahuasca trip or any of these entheogens, and you go inside and you go on this experience, and one of those things is you get this high frequency tuning your ears. It's your, basically you're coming into line, and you'll hear this really high pitched sound, and it's as you in one way come closer to the sun or come closer to the heart. There's 2 different ways you can go here. Well, not really. But then, let's see if I get this clear. What is happening now is you're experiencing that outside, for lack of a better term. You experienced it inside, now you experience it outside. So in a way, when you're hearing this high frequency, because just as you are tuned in when you went in, on ayahuasca, right, and you tuned in, we're tuning in out here. So you're going to have very similar effects or very similar experiences. Why wouldn't you? They're actually not that different. They're actually in the same, they're not in 2 different locations. So we're having that experience again, and this is what, for me all along, is I recognize that we're having, when we had those spiritual experiences inside and we went deep and we went dark and then we rediscovered the magical and the mystical, and I would watch that play out in my life, and I would experience it here, so-called here, and I was just like, wow. And so I remembered, be careful where you go some places. If you start hitting these trips and you start tuning in your fear and you don't clear it, right? If you go into some of these experiences taking anything and you don't reach a state of clarity, you don't tune into your heart, and you get a big fright, you're going to then experience that out here again. It's like you have a nightmare, you have another nightmare. You have a beautiful experience, you're going to have another beautiful experience. This is what we mean by creating from your causal nature, tuning into your spiritual realm, tuning into, how do you want to describe this, where we co-create in, and watch it happen. So this is coming very quick now. As Richard was saying, the quickening is Kate's shares many times. Something comes to her and then she watches it play right out. So this is what is the nature. Because remember, when you do these teacher plans, they're nature, right? And they're giving you a nature experience on the inside. And again, we're having that experience on the outside, so to say, also. So yes, it's magical and mystical any which way you look.
Yeah, I just got up one morning and got to share this joke. I just add my own layer to it. I woke up one morning and I put my meat suit on backwards. Think about that.
Yeah.
It's the short punchlines that work the best. Yeah, that's all we did. We woke up one morning and put our meat suits on backward. Wait a minute. What's this doing on the outside? The body? Yeah. Okay, I'm muting out now. Can you hear the tumbleweed?
Yeah, I was lighting a bowl. Yeah, thanks, Kate.
That's okay. That's okay, no worries.
You just simplified that quite beautifully.
Actually, that came from a 13-year-old kid. Hang on one sec. It was from Darren's daughter's friend. Just posted on her. Just posted this. You put your meat on backwards. That's it. That's where that came from. You just woke up one morning and put your meat stick or your meat suit on backwards. I forget who else. Oh, it was Jason calls it a meat suit. That was the other version of meat stick I've heard. So yeah, they both work pretty good. Meat suit, meat stick. Like baggage, whatever. Time to dump the camel.
Okay, you feel like a song?
Yeah. Go ahead, knock yourself out. Put one on.
Oh, I'm not on the board.
What kind of song are you talking about?
You know what I was playing the other day, and the show ended. Cheshire Green.
What's that techno thing?
No, I was gonna play Cheshire Grin, one of yours.
Oh yeah. I was just looking at Cheshire Grin to play that one.
Oh. I played it the other night at the end of the show. The Blog Talk cut it off. Like,
yeah, well, and it's 4 minutes and 20 seconds. So smoke them if you got them. Okay. Cheshire Grin, indeed. That was a coincidence. Fuck. Yeah, I planned that out. All right. Well, here it is. Cheshire Grin. I love this song. It's one of the few. I've got a bunch of Dadgad tune songs. That's double drop D, and it's so much fun to play. But yeah, this is one of them.
You've no reason to be alarmed. It's only me, no one else. Remember me, the one you loved, the one who really cares. If you look outside your door, you'll find me. I'll be waiting there. I'm the one with the Cheshire Grin and the fairy tale to share, to share, to share, to share. Oh, I know you understand. I can read your smile. I can see your thoughts so clearly, and I know you're there. If you look outside your door, you'll find me. I'll be waiting there. I'm the one with the Cheshire Grin and the fairy tale to share, to share, to share, to share. You've no reason to wonder why. No need to be alone. All you need is standing here before you. This heart beats loud. If you look outside your door, you'll find me. I'll be waiting there. I'm the one with the Cheshire Grin and the fairy tale to share, If you look outside your door, you'll find me. I'll be waiting there. You're the one with the Cheshire grin, and the fairy tale is yours. Is yours. Is yours. It's yours.
Outstanding.
Actually, I was indoors in the studio when I recorded that, but thanks for noticing. Yeah, you should try having a conversation with me when I've had a bowl.
Wow, voice is so crisp.
Yeah. You thought I got hypnagogic on the air? Yeah. Yeah, it was one of my favorite tunes to play.
Yeah. Huh.
Yeah, I'll get back into it.
Yeah.
I think I want to write a few other fun songs for, system destruction. Nothing kills the beast or calms the beast than a good old song, right? So I'll play a good old song. Write one.
It's like that. Your voice. It's like another being. It's like
the other me.
I don't know how to explain it. Yeah.
It's the other me. No, I know people listen to my voice when I talk and listen to when I sing, and they go, "That's you?" Yeah, that's me. It's a totally different thing. Don't ask me to explain it. I just kind of open my face and the shit comes out. That's all. It's like, there it is. Welcome to me. Yeah, the chick with the really low voice. Except when I sing, I'm a bit higher. Funny that. You know what this is? This is me being rude and grinding my bowl on air. There you go.
Yeah, I was watching this documentary called The Captains, and the fella who played Captain Sisko, Avery Brooks, he's talking to William Shatner, and he says the way that he plays jazz music and writes, he says it goes from God through me to you, and it's right.
That's exactly what it is. Yeah, that's why I tell people, it doesn't matter to me what you do to meditate. Go bowling, do the dishes, play guitar, write songs, work a potter's wheel or whatever. Anything you can do to shut that left brain down and just get into the imagination zone. And that's not to say you got to worry, but when you start placing your focus on something that you are doing, you're in an extremely high state of meditation. That's where, if you're paying attention, your higher voice will come and say, "Yo, check this shit out," and it will start talking to you. And that is actually you. That's not the ego. That's the real you. Will the real you please stand up? That's all I'm asking. It's so easy. Well, it's not easy. It's simple. That's the difference. Doing what I have done and in the role that I'm playing is incredibly simple. It's just not easy to get there. But I understand why. But being there, I'm going, it's easy and simple. And all you got to do is step. You've already taken the leap of faith you got here. Now take the second step and prove it to yourself. I don't need proof. I am all proof I'll ever need. And so are you. But you got to be able to look in the mirror and decide that for yourself. You're an infinite immortal being. What are you afraid of? Death? Oh, wait a minute. That's the meat stick ego illusion thing. Everything's energy. See, here's the thing. When you get untouchable, it's like people are completely safe traveling with me. I know nothing will happen. What would make me a little nervous is getting into other vehicles with people driving with insurance. That would scare me a little, right? No, but they'd be absolutely safe because they're with me. It doesn't matter where I am, I take that with me, right? So there's no polarity left on it. Do you understand what I'm saying, though? Is when you get this, when you finally get this, you are completely untouchable. You're on the Interstate 60. All you got to do is let go and accept all things for a reason, and they are. All we have to do is look at why. Oh, okay, I get it. Oh, that's cool. And now these headlines that you hear people talking about, and I'll get back into doing it again because it works and it actually changes stuff really quick. Start redefining headlines where something that's said to me literally, I'll just take it and redefine it to what I want those sigils to mean. So what's happened is that whole thought has been transformed and it travels through no one else is everyone takes it verbatim. Me, I'm saying no, I'm not taking that verbatim. I'm going to recreate that. It's open space, right? Anything that's black on white or white on black has been open spaced. So I will create within the same space that was trying to, control my reality. So I'll take it. Fine. Well, what's good for the goose is good for the gander. Let me flip that over on you. Yeah, sunny side up. Now I'm gonna scramble your eggs. That's kind of how it works. And when you see this shit happening in real time, you'll start to believe it. Until you do it, though, until you start seeing it for yourself, there's nothing I can say to convince anyone otherwise until they just simply trust themselves enough to go, well, look at the things that we know. Is using the name a fraud? Yes. Is it the way that our spiritual being is captured? Yes. Is it the list goes on and on of the things that we can say that we know. Now, could we say that 5 years ago? No, 5 years ago would be thinking that everything that we're talking about right now would be impossible. It would be impossible for Kate to sit there with no license, VINs ripped out of her car, expired plates, high-profile target for the system, like they could touch me, blah, 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 list goes on, and they have to run away. Yeah, you'd have believed that a year ago too, right? No, you wouldn't have. That a year ago would be deemed impossible because we didn't have the information a year ago that we have right now. So that's why stay in the now, stay focused on the now, and keep moving through the now. And be constantly vigilant, constantly aware, and don't get caught up in the literal dramatizations of basically everyday, day-to-day monkey chatter, Babylonian. Because when you're not in your now, and you're talking with someone, you're creating because you're actually in an agreed, consentful conversation. And if we're using all the same words the same way, what are we creating? The mirror opposite of what our intention is, to keep us controlled. I guarantee anyone talking to me, it's not working that way. I'm taking everything and the literal and putting only pure intent. And that's the joy of knowing, because if you're the one that knows and the other one's ignorant, you're holding the royal flesh. And you become untouchable. Don't ask me to explain it. I can't. I just know. Because I've experienced it too many times. How many times you got to get burnt by a match before you go, oh, I know that hurts? It'd only take one smack across the back of the head of a baseball bat to figure that out. You wouldn't be asking for a second one, would you? So it's that simple. Don't ask me to explain it. That's not my job. My job is to explain me. Pretty clear.
Yeah. I'm thinking of when you said you want me to stop or you want me to slow down.
Slow down. And I can do this on air while I'm going through my Facebook, deleting old accounts so I can make room for new friends, and I can still that's Gemini though, right? It's awesome. Multitask, right? Stay focused on two things. Why? Because I'm in the now. Seriously, sit down. Just sit down. I don't care, after the show, wherever. I don't care where you go, but sit down. If it's a noisy place, great. If it's quiet, great. But sit down, close your eyes, and listen and feel everything around you in that moment. Become the now in that darkness within self. And you'll start to understand what I'm talking about. You'll hear the rhythms of the universe. You will hear the song. I shit you not. Just listen. It will be in everything and everywhere around you. Bulletproof Monk is just a great movie for everyone if you want to see the master and the initiate. And you will see so much of yourself. And keep in mind what I wrote tonight as far as the name and truth and standing in it. And watch the Bulletproof Monk. The first 5 minutes, you'll have your jaw on the floor. I know mine was, because it basically listed in order everything that I had to go through to get bulletproof. And what was the last thing on the list? There was 4 things. He had to lose his name.
No way.
I'm not kidding. This is why when I talk about a movie, watch the fucking thing, because I'm saying it for a reason. It's completely relevant to my now. If you want to see a real-time experience of anagogic, I'll be the movie. If you want to view the movie, I'll share the movie with you.
Wow.
If you can see my movie, then you'll start to learn how to see yours. I've sat with people that are during movies, and they're actually laughing because they're watching it as my movie. I'm sitting there, and they're watching my movie on the screen, and they're laughing because they know exactly what's going on. That is the bliss of the magic when you see it. Oh, you're analytical.
You're listening to Kate of Gaia on Critical Mass Radio. The game is up. Now, it's our turn.
And good evening. Welcome to Outside the Box. Yours truly, Kate of Gaia, coming at you live, criticalmassradio.co.uk, from an undisclosed location somewhere in the universe. Closer to you than you actually realize. So there you go. First thing I got to do, I keep meaning to do this, have for so long. I just want to do a shout out for my main man Otis. You know, no, I don't miss a trick, Otis, and I know there are some people that have been there for a long time, and you're one of them. So just like to acknowledge that on occasion. There are many of you, and just haven't done a shout out to Otis for a long time, and I keep meaning to do it every night, and of course I get sidetracked and whatever. So there you go, Otis. You got your little shout out, and I feel better about it. And I was going to write it, and thought, no, I want to do this. I keep getting distracted to do it. So there you go. Anyway, I did finish that essay. I did a little, shifting around it, of course, in order to get back into the groove of it. It's always hard to start an essay and then go back to it, but as well, fate would have it, the energy was still within it, and it was still in a kind of a download process. Just continuing on with the same overall concept that's contained within it. And I think by the time I'll read through the whole thing, I've put it up on Facebook. I did pass it to Ninja to get put up on kateofgaia.wordpress.com. Not sure if she's got it yet, but it will be there. And again, you know my essays. It's better to show and tell when I'm reading something on air. But regardless, this show will be archived, so if you want to hear it being read and reading along with it, you can do that once the archive is there after tonight's show. If you feel so indulgent, and that's cool, even if you don't, it's all good. Because this game is all about you, and many of you are starting to get that, and it's really cool to watch gods come into their own power. That's the trick. That's what I love to watch. So, that being said, where we got? I know I've got Darren on the board right now. What I'll do is I'll bring Darren in for a quick chat. I did get an email earlier today. Now, I'm just I'll open your mic there, Darren, because I said I would. But what I'm going to do is I want to share an email that I got, and I do get these occasionally. Just to let people know I do pay attention. Now, let me just get to Outlook here and. Oh, God, I hate it.
Namaste,
anyway.
everyone.
Hey, Darren, how are you doing?
Fine. It's just gorgeous. Got the sun beating down on me, and I'm just wondering if there's any more.
Oh, there's lots more. So like I said, just waiting for my Outlook to open here, and I want to get this. Oh, geez. Oh no, D has been busy today. I've got about 20 emails from him. Okay, I guess I know what I'm doing tomorrow. There you go. And we'll close that. So let me see. Get down here. And David, yes, I did. Oh yeah. Let me just clear off some of these. Unreal. Yeah, it's just been a crazy.
From a supposed court repossession order from 2008, which I'm assuming will probably be out of date.
Well, it all is, and this is exactly what I'm going to cover tonight, because the simple truth of the matter remains that if she knew who she was, they wouldn't have anything to offer, because they can't contact the living. I'm going to cover that in this essay, so I'm going to mute both you guys out, get through this essay, and I'm going to cover exactly what you just said, Mystified. This is the power each and every one of us has, and I'm really hoping that the essay is called 0 Point. What I'm really hoping for tonight is to drill this point home once and for all. And that's really what I focused on in the second half of the essay, to bring the responsibility aspect back into it. But I assure you, I have written this in no uncertain terms with no compromise. So be mindful. This is going to be an earful and a heartful. If you're not willing to stand in the truth from this point forward, then you need to just simply fuck off. Because I will not have any spiritual connection to anything that will not stand in truth. Therefore, I am not going to allow myself to get pulled down. And that's the thing with this table. If you are not ready for the truth, I urge you to run away now, because the truth you hear that resonates within you, if you do not stand in it, will actually, then you're in a condition of defying it, and you will begin the challenges accordingly to get you off that fence that you're sitting on. Okay, so let's not play the Humpty here. Let's just get the job done. So on that note, I'll just mute these mics out, and we're going to get rolling on 0 Point. And just checking my Skype here real quick. And let me see. I'll tell you what. What's the BTR number? I'll get the BTR number for you guys. BTR, go figure. BTR listener 021. Tonight I'm going to be throwing 9-inch nails into the coffin of the system. And watch for a world change. Like now. Okay, yeah, so thanks, guys. Yeah, look, everyone's so helpful. BTR listener 021. Thank you. You guys rock. Okay, so on that note, let's get into some hardcore truth porn. That's what I call my stuff. I'm a truth whore. It's all about truth porn, right? So why not? Let's just play with the mirror of the game. I think I'll grab my other mouse, because that one works great, but it's not as mobile. Okay. And just a little word to everybody. Car's getting a gas tank today. I didn't want to start, and I know why, because fuel pump's probably rotted out. There's been water in the tank. So, again, thanks to those that have helped out. That it makes just doing this possible without any consideration, to keep things mobile, to keep me doing what I'm supposed to be doing. Stay on purpose, and the universe has you. Okay, so here we go, 0 Point. And again, I read much of it last night, but I did add some things into it to clarify some points within it as I was reading through it. The problem with downloads is you end up thinking a lot more than you write, so I try to expand these. So anyway, it's called 0 Point. We'll be on that. But there is a lot we can do about pounding on keyboards, about rattling things, breathing too heavy into a microphone, all of these things that these are the very subtle things that will derail someone who is sharing and likely just downloading straight from heart. And those are tenuous threads at best. And they're so easily snapped and look at the distractions of our universe, and it's no wonder. Look at the gift we have in terms of just getting to this table to begin with, myself included. So there you go. Anyway, that being said, here, what do we got? Oh, we got Mystified coming in for a sec, so I'll get you guys.
Can I share one thing?
Yeah, please.
Just a little bait for you to get into the table. When you share the heights you have gained, you create the space in your toolbox to gain new heights.
Good observation.
This is what you get to do. Since I've been sharing with Kate, well, I've been sharing a long time, but since actually getting online with Kate and expressing what is within my thumbprint, my being, my R, spirit breath, much more than things have shifted greatly. And I only feel that what's waiting you all is here at the Emerald Table. If you think you've been crazy, someone's told you what you got to share is crazy, come here. Open your mouth. Let those words grace your tongue, because that tongue will deliver it to your heart and your pineal gland. And you will begin to activate DNA. Because it is your breath, your spirit breath, your word. No W. My spelling, I may get looked up.
That's your Urt cloud. Take the D out and put the law of truth back in. You have the creation of creation and spirit breath law of truth. That's what the Urt or word. Well, what is the Urt cloud? It's the cloud of creation around our solar system. It's all in a fractal. I might be a little noisy around here tonight, guys, so I will do my best to. Hopefully, not much of it's getting picked up. It's okay. It's all good. But I definitely will be muting when I'm not yabbering. And again, this is your table, and thank you for actually saying that, Darren. This is the place where you can come to literally download. And you get. I've listened to so many people here, when they first start out, and then they come in, and then I can hear the downloads, right?
Hey, kid. Hey, folks.
Hey, how are you, Mystic, Mystified, Super Guy?
Yeah. I'm all right. There's a lady in a farm not far from where I'm at now, and apparently she barricaded herself in. They were trying to take her, and it's an animal sanctuary in a farm called Milkup Farm. They're trying to build windmills on the land or something, and trying to repossess it from her.
Difference to the quality of the broadcast. When you grab the mic, none of the others can interrupt. Cheers. I would also like to hear you talk more about practical solutions surrounding lose the name, win the game, such as getting accommodation, council tax, wages being paid into a bank account, dealing with gas and electric bills, etc., etc. Cheers, Peter. Thank you. Absolutely. And I mean, this has been the ongoing thing with me. And I always leave it up to everyone that's at the table to police themselves, for lack of a better way to do it, and allowing full concepts to carry through. I mean, it's like I was saying to you the other day, Darren, I know when I'm hearing a download, so it's like, shut up and just let the individual go. And really, that's what it boils down to for me, because the only thing that's happening when interruptions. And it's habit, guys. We talked about this in great depth last night and had a lot of fun doing it, poking fun at ourselves. It's just habit. It's wanting to get into the fray and going, hey, I got this show and tell thing, and it's just the excitement. I totally get that. But what I'm asking, because I do not like to mute mics. I've said that constantly. I don't like to do that because I like to open the table up. So my terms are pretty simple. Your mic's open, and you will get your say. Be mindful there are others at the table. I'm the one staring at the multitude of open lines where, sometimes it can be 3 or 4 people basically take the entire table, and I actually get pushed out as well. And I do feel that. I feel that push out energy. And I just sit back and I wait until it eases. I don't want to really jump in there. The only time that I will jump in is when someone is sharing something far, far more profound than they're giving credence to. And like the one example we had, what was her name? It escapes me. Anyway, she was talking about being in court and a helper showed up, right? And it went right past that to the point where I'm saying, did you see what happened on your Interstate 60? This is the Mr. Cody stepping in, or Ray, or O.W. Grant stepping in to make sure. These are the unseen helpers. And after this little essay tonight, I really want people to start grasping the true magic nature of this place. We've been caught in the physical paradigm for far too long. And I get it. I know. I've been part of it. This is the thing. I am just like you. I came up through all the same programming. I went looking in, many of the same areas that all of you did. And I get it. I totally get it. I mean, this is probably the only table you can come to that you have infinitely more things in common with others than you've probably ever experienced in your entire life. And it is exciting. And I do get that. So let's try to curb that a little bit. And again, about sounds in the background, if you put your hand up, then you have the full responsibility of making sure that it's quiet on your end, either through muting or making sure the phone is covered or whatever the case may be, because it is extremely distracting. And yes, we do have phones sometimes that have hisses and stuff, and not much we can do about that. What's that?
Had a beautiful exchange with Michael on his show today.
Well, hey, why don't you share that while I'm dinking around here trying to find what it is I remember to share while I remember to share it. So go ahead. I didn't get a chance to get in this morning. I was comatose. I fell asleep not long after the show last night, and I didn't wake up, and it was probably 11 o'clock. So I had lots, and I have to say this, I had lots of interactions. Again, not in the full view, but for me it's just knowing, but we're getting a lot of shit done in the after hours. So please share that, Darren. That'd be awesome.
Wonderful, thank you. Yeah, it was well, how Mike guides everybody back into themselves. It's all about the self, his love. I mean, holy cow! It'd be great if we camped out on his deck as he wakes up. Yeah, it's all about the self and how we observe the self. That was the ultimate story that he shared today.
Oh, it's great, and the perspective that might come.
Yeah, but it was then, here in the now, we're basking in that same truth.
Well, yeah, that's exactly it. And based on what Dia has been sending, I managed to get through a bunch of his stuff today. But based on what he's been sending, guys, we're dissolving this shit in rapid fashion, like faster than you can. Like every email is like, okay, this is dissolved, and this is how this transmuted into this, and this is done, and this is done, and this is done, and it's just been a constant, ongoing list of getting shit done, baby. So it's crazy.
I spent some time with some fear porn yesterday.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, just fun. Yeah. Well, it kind of got me off guard, and then I just had to go into it. Lots of fears pop up. And they're deep, especially when you think of all. And clearing that energy just felt great. I felt so great. Null and voided or removed a whole pile of contracts that I had before. There's an emotional tie to that systems boogeyman I took back.
Well, you're going to love this little essay tonight. Basically, it's from what I did last night to what I added to it, it's at least the same and then some again. So here was the email I got, and just to share it with you guys. And this came in today, but and it's something we've been talking about. And I'm going to try this on tonight to see how it works. It's always a catch-22 with this. But he writes, hi, Kate. I like your show, but I find it stressful listening when everyone interrupts each other all the time. Boils kettles, rattles crisp packets, etc. What would make a big difference would be if, when you're talking, a mute button is in operation so that at least nobody can interrupt you. Then you can at least explain everything without you and us half expecting you to be interrupted or cut off. This way you can explain slowly and in depth. This would make a big difference.